Okay. Are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
All right. Shout out to our brand new executive producer and director of photography. She's behind the camera, but all right, we're live now from the boat. Should we say what boat it is? It's the first day on the new boat, right?
Yeah. It is.
The Coastal Cowboy? Is that the name of it?
Coastal Cowboy. It's the name of the brand.
But that's the name of the boat.
It could be both, I guess.
It's on the back of the boat.
Okay, then it's Coastal Cowboy.
What else would you name this boat?
No, that's it. That's it.
The Coastal Cowboy. We're live from the Coastal Cowboy, the first podcast ever recorded on this boat.
Yeah.
History. And we actually have the world's hottest scientist, and we also have Rosie Moore here as well.
I knew that was coming.
No, you didn't know that was coming.
I did, because you're not that original. So.
Oh, so who else has been on a podcast with you and Chris before?
Nobody, actually. This is our first. We've done podcasts together, like a short one, but not like with somebody else.
Okay, well, all jokes aside, we have Gatorboys Chris Gillette here. A guy who I've been lucky enough, we've actually filmed stuff a long time ago.
Yeah, we did, you came and swam with Casper?
Yes.
Yeah, and we did that movie thing?
Yes, I literally met this guy, and within 30 minutes, I was trusting him with my life pretty, I mean, it's not like that. I don't want to make them out to be monsters, but I put a lot of trust in you pretty quick.
It's amazing people will endanger themselves if you just lie and say it's safe.
Yeah.
It's pretty
well, I remember reading the waiver thing, and it was like, if you die, like, we're not, and I was like, hey, man, like, this is like all just for precaution. You're like, no, like, it's pretty, and I was like, oh.
Well, no, it is really chill, for sure. We have a perfect safety record, jokes aside. But also, jokes aside, as somebody who is an operator for tours and dangerous activities, when I go travel and I'm in places and I'm like, wow, this is really not safe. And the guide is like, no, it's safe. And the tourist's like, okay. And I'm like, somebody's going to die here one of these times.
Sometimes people might.
Yeah, no. And people, like, they really are just like, yeah, they said it's safe, so it's safe. And I'm like, bruh, this is not safe. But people don't know, you know?
Yeah. Well,
there's
only one way to know.
Except for us.
His is safe. Good. So everyone else you may not believe, but this one we know.
Well, I do have a perfect safety record.
And I've been there and I'm alive. So there's your.
If somebody got nailed on my tour, it would be on the news immediately.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So there you go. And then we also do have Rosemary.
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 Ever since Mary, it's Marie.
Do you want to since you're a repeat guest now, do you have anything to say since this is like your second time coming on?
This is my second time. I was just really excited to be back here with you.
Yeah, she texted me. She's like, please.
I was like, please let me talk to you again. That was so much fun.
I was like, all right, for a small fee, and we got the fee figured out, and now we get Frankie now on staff. The operations.
The fee was a margarita?
No, it was a pretty hefty fee.
Yeah.
Wait, you're getting paid?
I can't. No, I'm getting
paid.
It's a promo fee.
No, it's not.
Yeah, and we got on. What was that tabloid from the last podcast?
That's my least favorite. The one that keeps like publishing all the like stuff about me, and it's like world's hottest scientist. Like the one. There's one that's really bad.
You love it.
You love
obviously, but no.
What? But
Daily
what did it
Star.
say?
The
Daily
UK.
Mail?
It's the UK version.
Daily Mail, right?
No, Daily Mail's our version. I did them too. I didn't do them.
Yo, we're live right now.
A lot of things going on.
You don't have to say that on camera, but I'm glad that you're opening up. But
Daily
so you
Star.
did the Daily Mail. Anybody else?
And then Daily Star is the UK version of that. And they're like hardcore. Like if I say anything or post anything, like they're on it.
I gotta be honest. I was excited when you sent it to me. I'm like, oh, like the podcast getting in the tab. And then they just dusted me in it. Like they just said the host like in one thing. I thought I was going to be like, I was telling my boys, I'm like, yeah, freaking tabloids, dude. Like, they're blowing me up. I wasn't even in the article. It's terrible.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
That's how they go.
So I feel like now it's been quite of a long day leading up to this podcast.
It's hot.
It's very hot.
Yeah.
Frankie's trying to keep the talent.
You sweat me.
Are you just trying to get Chris to take his shirt off right now by saying that?
I've been telling him all day. I was like, do the podcast, no shirt.
The craziest thing that I think people didn't realize, like, you're vegan, dude, right?
I'm vegetarian.
Vegetarian?
Yeah.
You might be the most jacked vegetarian of all time.
If you look into it, like if you look at like vegan bodybuilder, it'd blow your mind. But actually the girl earlier that was here, she's like a amateur bodybuilder or whatever.
That was great. She showed me the pictures.
She said something, I was like, yeah, no, I'm vegetarian 10 years. She's like, yeah, but what PDEs and what things you're on? I'm like, I don't know what that means, and I don't even drink alcohol, so I'm not on anything.
You're on no juice.
Nothing. Zero.
No juice, just gator exercises.
That's it.
Have you ever tried, like, we got the world's hottest geoscientists. Have you ever thought about faking that you like work out lifting gators or something? Like, I feel like that.
Yeah. No, I want to do like I don't want to say because I want somebody to steal it, but you heard it here first, right?
Exclusive.
No, for real. I want to do like a Crockfit instead of like CrossFit.
That's,
do like,
that's such a good idea.
No, for real. I want to do a Crockfit page and do like a fitness page, but I got to get like more into actually working out more regularly.
Dude, that's genius.
Yeah, you should probably get fit first, and then we'll do that.
Well, no, I want to get like. No, I'm serious.
That was funny.
I
For
don't.
you, that was
I don't
pretty
think
funny.
I'm at the level where I should be doing that, but I want to. You know.
Dude, I think Crockfit is maybe one of the
I
most
wanna do that.
straightforward, genius. Like, that's maybe one of the most guaranteed ideas I've ever.
So like.
How can I invest? Like,
Well, like I told you earlier, I'm building up my new place and everything like that. And like I totally want to like put a gym area like right next door to where the gators are, and so like you could like work out and like they're in the background like.
let me film this, dude. I think I'm like in on this. Like,
I
imagine
really- I
he's
wanna do
doing-
It's a cool idea.
Imagine you're doing pull-ups like, and they're beneath you just for the like shock factor.
Yeah, I've been debating on that because like I don't want to get too like I don't know, like
Hokey?
clickbait. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I don't want to be too hokey about it, but like I do want to do like some cool workouts with them, just like chilling in the background, doing their thing, and like
Have you ever thought about benching like a gator or croc?
I mean, I've done it, but yeah.
How much? How much does like a 8-footer weigh? 100
Oh
pounds.
my, it's just like people, man. You can have a dude that's like I'm 6'5", 200 pounds.
Me too.
Well, so you could be
Fucking crazy.
but you could be 6'5" and like 3, you know, or
Well, I'm
or,
like 205. But we're
350,
basically
but like you know what I
similar,
mean?
Yeah.
So
Is that fun to be 6'5"?
I,
Be real with me.
I mean,
It's got to be nice. Can't suck.
yeah, no, I mean, well, I can't stand up in this boat, but
But
you
the
know.
only bad thing for you when you stand next to a gator, it looks smaller.
It really does. And most of my
Sucks,
content,
though.
I'm alone.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, like, or I have George, you know, he's my camera guy. Shout out to George over there.
Shout out,
But,
George. Come on, get in the thing. Let's get George.
George
get him
is
a
the
little
man,
airtime right now.
the
George,
myth,
you
the
gotta
legend.
get in the thing.
There you go.
What's up, George?
What's up? I'm George.
How tall are you?
I am.
4'11".
Yeah, that.
What does that make me? I can't remember if I'm taller than you or not. I don't remember. Just say that. Yes.
So
How's
so
it?
he's my cameraman, dude. He's my like ride or die, and all the
Ride
time
or die.
I'm like doing well. It's usually him almost dying, but
Yes.
and I'm riding, but
So what's the protocol like? And this is kind of dark, but what's the protocol, ride or die? Like, if you get munched, is he supposed to keep filming?
no, well, I mean, we're definitely gonna help each other out, you know.
But then it's like too late. Like he's like, damn, I can't help him.
Well,
All
yeah,
right,
it,
let me
it
grab
depends
the
on the
camera.
situation, of course, you know. But like, I mean, we don't need to go into how many times we almost killed George. But what I was gonna say
On
is every time
purpose,
we're
or-
on accident.
Oh,
Yeah, but
I don't know about that.
so wait,
Oh,
what
it's
if
never been
George
purposeful.
starts getting eaten?
yeah,
But
well,
you're getting a
Well, I
crazy
think
shot.
you've got like really good like an explanation of the different defensive mechanisms of the alligator. So like if it's like a predatory bite or like a defensive bite, like the different protocols for how you would react to those situations.
yeah,
That is
exactly.
interesting.
Yeah, I got a
the
whole
scientist
YouTube
bringing
video.
it in for landing right now. I like that.
Yeah. But
So can you explain that a little bit?
George, can you explain it?
Well, there's a reason why I'm behind the camera. I'm not the one that speaks.
Yeah, that's why I said, George, can you explain it?
Pretty
Because
good, though.
every time, like, I'll be like on like a, you know, like I'm just going, I'm you know, doing a video, and I'm like, da, 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 and I'm like, what do you think, George? Because I want to include him and like have some back and forth. He's like,
Yeah.
purple, and I'm like, what? Like all the time.
Like, I didn't say what color's your wiener, dude. Like, George, we're live right now. You know?
Oh my god.
No, but so what is the differences? Because that is a very interesting point.
Yeah.
Right. So, basically, an alligator's motivate, or any animal, depending on how you're going to handle the situation, if it goes south, depends on the motivation of why is it biting you. Because nothing's like a monster. Nothing's like, it's biting you because it's an alligator. It's like, no, is it a feeding response? Is it territorial? Is it defensive? Is it predatory? Because depending on what motivation is going to dictate how you're going to handle the situation. Like,
Right.
if it's a predatory bite, and that means it's hunting you, it sees you as prey,
It's game time.
fight back.
Yeah.
Fight for your life. Because a lot of times, if you fight for your life in that situation, they'll back off. Because predators are looking for easy prey. And if you present yourself as difficult prey, a lot of predators back off. Even if they're fully capable of taking you down, they often back off because they want easy
It's not
prey.
worth the effort.
Right. Now,
Yeah.
if it's a feeding response with an animal that we've worked with, and he grabs your hand accidentally thinking it's food, then you want to like you would want to go limp, and you would let him just hold your hand and don't fight back at all
Really?
because he's going to death roll. Because then it becomes competitive between you and him. He's not afraid of you. See, the thing is, in a predatory instance, they are unsure of you 99.9% of the time, and it's more exploratory. They're trying to figure out, are you food? Can I eat you? And if you fight back, they're like, oh man, that thing fights. Like, because it's never, most likely, most situations, it's never eaten a person before. It doesn't know. And so it really is unsure. You're a novel prey item. So it is going to be more hesitant about how it approaches you. And so when you fight on that instance, a lot of times they back off. Right?
That's so cool.
I think that's just like a common thing with predators, though, because even sharks, things like that, like they want an easy meal. Like if you think of an apex predator, nothing really wants to fight for their prey.
Absolutely.
Like they want to ambush. They want something easy to get. Look at a tiger shark. Yeah. They want to attack you vertically. They want you when you're not looking. Like it's a really common theme across apex predators.
Yeah. So then what was the third one that you're saying?
Well, so like feeding. Well, I mean, what's really interesting is, let's say it got you a feeding response, right? And so then you're like, I'm gonna fight back. I'm gonna punch him in the nose, because I saw this article about a little girl that put her fingers inside the nose of an alligator and it let go. That's a real article.
Really?
Yeah. And they're like, so they're very sensitive noses, and that's what. No, bro. I know guys that have been bit by an alligator, pull out a gun and shoot in the head, doesn't let go. Yeah. So if it is, and that's usually defensive. That's where like they're trying to catch it, and the gator's fighting for his life, and so like it doesn't matter what you do. Like, in that instance, it's not going to let go.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I got nothing to lose. Like, this could be it.
Right. So that's why, like, in the predatory, hit him in the nose, hit him in the eye, whatever, those are more sensitive areas, but the pain tolerance on these things is off the charts. And so it's more afraid of you. You're not hurting it. So you're not actually like, I injured him. It's like, you scared him. It's psychological, not physical.
Like, with your hands, well, maybe his hands, but me and George's hands, like, you couldn't hurt a gator.
No.
Like, in almost any way, could you?
No. Not with your bare hands.
No matter what, even if it sat there.
No, I mean,
for 20 minutes, he wouldn't be like injured.
I could tell you, when I was very young and dumb, and I didn't know anything, and nobody taught me anything yet. There's a pair of alligators that were getting a fight, and I was gonna try to break them up. And the bigger one, I went up, and and so I went over, and I'm like, this is when, I was doing martial arts pretty heavy, and I thought I was pretty tough, and so I went over there, and didn't flinch, didn't do anything. Like, I didn't hit that hard, Like, I'm not trying to be abusive, but I'm like trying to get him to let go, and it's like. Didn't react, and I'm like, bah! And I'm like, actually hit, and like I was gonna break my hand before that thing even reacted.
On the head?
Yeah.
No way. Right in that kind of bony part, or where did you hit him?
Oh, right in the nose, right up at like.
No reaction.
Didn't care, And obviously, never do that. By the way, again, young and dumb. I don't want to come across as abusing animals or anything like that.
You're the last dude I think I would ever accuse of like. I think you might. One thing I will say too, because I've seen this dude doing stuff for almost 7 years now. Personally, I've like watched it. I feel like you might be the number one most like animal loving person of anyone I've dealt with. That's like I'm just saying. I told you that too.
It's very true, especially across like wildlife, and like it's been something I've been talking about a lot lately. Is like a lot of people are abusing animals for content, where it's like. Chris actually works at a reputable facility. Like, all the animals you work with are mostly captive. Like, he's never abusing an animal for content. He's just working in a professional capacity, handling dangerous animals respectfully for content.
Yeah. I gotta tell you, dude. I'm not even just saying that. I told that to you when he wasn't even here. The other times, like, I really have seen that. And I've seen, we know people that don't. We know people that don't. And I'm just saying, good on you for that. Because, like, even when I first met you, I didn't know what... was going to be. I think one of the coolest things too, when we went, I know this is a little change topic and I want to keep talking about that, but when they were bellowing and we went and swam over by them, I think that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen in real life with my own 2 eyes.
And like, there's probably, realistically, there's probably less than 1,000 people ever in history that have been in the water that close to an alligator bellowing.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
Think about it. Even if we were counting like hundreds, thousands of years ago, how many people do you think are in the water with alligators while they're bellowing and have felt that sensation?
I gotta update my Instagram bio.
Like, it's pretty cool, man.
I've been had that this whole time and didn't talk about it once. Damn.
Yeah.
I mean, that was crazy, and I remember.
Of people alive today, less than 100.
Drove by? Really?
For sure. Think about it.
Damn.
Yeah, like alive today, there's got to be less than 100 people have ever experienced
I'm going to be annoying now. I'm really going to say this. And we have it on camera.
I just conservatively say 1,000 just to be safe, because who knows what kind of tribe.
What about people from Missouri? Have you?
I haven't been in the water when one bellows.
There you go.
But you also like think about like how little like people like dive with alligators or in the water with alligators. But I think it's like picking up, like people see it on Instagram and stuff and think they can try it. But I always explain that like diving with alligators and crocodiles is 10 times more dangerous than sharks. And like you talked about some of the predatory defenses, and it's like if one bites you in a certain way, like it's not gonna let go. And that's the difference. If a shark does it, it's going to be an exploratory bite. They bite you and they let go typically, or you push them away and it's good. Whereas like with crocs or alligators, it's not that.
No, but it's interesting too, because I remember I didn't do a good job of explaining. When we were there, we were diving with them, and then wasn't it like a big truck drove by, like a semi or something, and they like felt it from the vibrations.
Yeah.
And then what? Because I know sometimes I just say stuff like a random person. They all start like, I don't even know what you describe it. They're like making a vibration with their throat, or what is like.
I mean, for like somebody who really has no idea what we're talking about, it's almost like a roaring thing. It's not a roar, but that's what, if you didn't know what you're looking at, you'd probably call it.
Sounds like a dinosaur, like from what most people would think is like Jurassic Park. Like,
well, it sounds like a dinosaur in Jurassic Park, because that's one of the sounds they put into the roar of the T-Rex in Jurassic Park.
Really?
There you go.
That's cool.
Yeah, they sampled a lot of different animal sounds, like elephants, but bellowing alligators was definitely one of the sounds they used.
So all of a sudden we were sitting there, and you were like, I remember you clicked. You're like, dude, look at this, and like you went into like game time mode, and we went over there, and they all started doing it.
Yeah,
it was so crazy. Like I mean, like you said, and I don't want to brag, but there's probably less than 100 people alive today that ever been in the water with them.
Now I got one up that. Did I go underwater when he was doing it?
Probably. I think you did.
Well, because I've only done it a couple times. Because I
might have a
learned
GoPro video of that.
it's like, it feels like your head's gonna explode. Like if you go underwater and they're bellowing. So like if you're like, I don't know, like 10 feet away or whatever, it sounds cool, you know? But then when you get close, like there's this critical point when you get within like a couple feet where suddenly it just like turns on your brain, like the frequency hits, and you're like, oh my God, like get away. Like you feel like your head's gonna blow. Like if you get too close, just like the way the sound waves are in the water, you're like, oh, it's like
a stun grenade or something.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So when they're doing that, like we said, for people that don't know, it's like a mating thing, or what are they trying? They're trying to.
Well, I don't want to like dominate. You can explain it.
No, go for it.
No,
I've never even seen one bellow.
Oh, really?
No.
You gotta hang out with me more.
No, Chris and I actually worked for the same crocodile research lab for several years.
I heard that on
different
the
times though,
podcast with
because
Rosie
he's really old. So
yeah,
I'm like a lot younger and more newer, up and coming. Probably gonna take over.
Oh, are you? You're so up and coming. Wow. I read about you in the tabloid.
Yeah, dude.
You're the one that watched that manatee orgy, right? Is that you?
If I could burn that paper, I could burn it. Oh my God. That'd be amazing.
I think you kind of love it. I mean,
weren't you biting your lip
for
that?
Say,
were you biting your lip?
It makes
today?
it sound like I'm into manatees.
That's what I interpreted. That was my takeaway. You were into those manatees.
Now everyone knows.
You were watching it and recorded it.
What did the title say? It was bites lip as she watches.
World's hottest scientist bites her lip during manatee orgy.
I mean, no, it said you're speechless. Isn't
No,
that what it
definitely
said?
No, it definitely mentioned that I was biting my lip. Oh. They ad-libbed that though. I wasn't.
I gotta say this to the tabloid. I'm trying to get in the tabloids. I literally thought I was gonna be in it, and they just erased me from the whole
game.
thing.
Bite the manatee. I'm kidding. Don't do that. I'm kidding. Don't do that.
Uno reverse.
Yeah.
If it's, what's it? Daily Star.
Yeah.
Talk to me, man. Like I'll get some sound bites. I'll do something, but that's
You're gonna
crazy.
Start selling my videos behind my back.
I'm gonna try.
Record our
Reach
conversations.
out. I keep trying to get them to reach out to me, and they won't. But anyways, so the thing is, like, when they're doing that, how far away do you think they're like communicating with that bellow?
So the bellow, we kind of derailed. So the bellow is a multi-purpose vocalization to basically announce your presence and size to rivals, to show how big you are, but then also to potential mates to impress them too. So it goes both ways. Both males and females will bellow, but the males are typically the only one that will produce the water dance, where the water goes up and the really low sound. So like the males are going like boo, and the females like meh. Like
really?
there's a very clear difference between the two. I have had one guy that works at a place. He says that he's got a female that does bellow and produce that low and make the water dance.
I was going to ask if that's contested at all, the purpose of the bellow, though, because crocodilian communication's a very interesting topic, actually. And they just had that, what was that study that came out last year about the hatchlings responding? Mom responding to hatchling calls that weren't hers?
I don't think I saw that one.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I was reading about it. So they study communication between crocodilians a lot right now, and it's still one of those things that's not completely clear how they communicate or why.
They're just recording it and trying to market
Yeah,
compared to
there's
what
a lot
happens.
of things in crocodilian research that are just understudied, like
Yeah.
gastroliths, like how they like swallow stones and things like that. Like they don't really know why they do it. Like they don't know if it distends their stomach and like extends their breath hold,
they're eating,
or
like, gravel
if
or
it
what?
helps. Yeah, basically rocks,
And-
or if it helps with digestion, because birds and other
Yeah.
animals will do that, but they don't think it's that because like how they ingest their prey, they don't really chew it up, so they're like, we don't really think it's that, or it could be a buoyancy thing. So there's like
No way.
lists of, like, all these
what's that
different
called, a weight
theories
belt when
for-
you're diving?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they don't
Really?
know.
it's
And some people claim they'll go miles to get specific stones.
yeah.
Come on.
It's
Yeah.
a really weird behavior. We used to do a study on caiman with it, because all the caiman we were finding locally, because caiman are they're not invasive, but they're established in Florida, freshwater crocodilian, closely related to the alligators more than crocodiles, and they always have gastroliths in their digestion system when we do necropsies.
So what do you think it is?
I don't know. It's one of those things, like, I've read all the expert opinions on everybody that's done the studies, and it's basically everybody's like, we have no clue.
Wow.
It's the same
Yeah.
way with ISOs, though.
Yeah.
ISOs
For
are
the people at
very...
home.
If you look on crocodilian or alligators, they've got these tiny little black bumps. So if you're looking at a crocodile, that's how you can tell crocodile versus alligator skin apart, is you see these tiny bumps on like every scale on their body, then it's a crocodile. If it's only on the head, then it's an alligator. They're literally like these little mounds, and they're full of nerves. And that's how they like sense things, but they're not sure exactly what the purpose is, because crocodiles have them on every scale, whereas alligators it's only on their head. It's basically like they think they're like nerve endings, but they're not sure if it helps them sense where they're going, if it helps them sense prey, or like exactly what it's doing. They used to think it secreted a liquid that helped with something as
I'd
well.
not heard that, no.
I'm going to give you this crocodilian book I have. It has like all the historical
school?
research on
Yeah.
it, everything that's ever been done on it. And it's like really interesting, because the original theory was that it excreted a liquid. I forgot what their
Out of
theory
their-
was
out of
with the
those
liquid.
bumps?
Out of the bumps, yeah.
But what kind of liquid would it even
I
be?
forgot what it was. It was almost like how we have like oils in our
Or
fingers
for
and stuff.
sweating if it's really
Yeah.
hot inside.
Yeah, that was an
Hypothetically.
original theory. So
Yeah.
it's like they're really trying to figure out like the exact purpose of the ISOs, but nobody really knows.
Yeah.
What does that stand for?
Integumentary sensory organ.
Thank you.
So
There you
that's
go.
more, well, so
Not
now
for
we,
me, for the viewers. Now, I obviously would. I didn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
so,
know that.
well, I mean, now we think it's definitely more for touch and
Yeah.
Yeah,
sensation and feeling around.
But
Oh,
it
it's like
definitely is for touch, but it's like, what is it for? Is it more for helping them sense or for helping them eat? Because why do alligators only have it on their head, but crocodiles have it on every
Maybe
scale?
they just didn't evolve as
Don't
like
know.
That's
Yeah.
much.
yeah,
That's
that's
the other
what.
thing, too, is evolution doesn't have a goal.
But if you look at the distribution of all the species, alligators, the Chinese alligators and American alligators, then you look at all the crocodilians worldwide, why are we only seeing them on alligators and not crocs?
Well, because the...
Worldwide,
Okay,
it's
So
like that?
every crocodile around the world all developed ISOs on every scale of their body, and then alligators didn't.
because you're thinking there's a purpose. That's the problem with the logical
Well, it's not
path
the
you're going.
purpose, it's just that
Well, no, here, let me
you would
explain.
think you'd see more variation.
Well, here, let me explain. So we often think evolution of something has a purpose, and sometimes it's not, you know? And I mean, don't get me wrong, most things do, but sometimes there's a bottlenecking event, like just, I'm completely purely hypothetical here, but you could have a bottlenecking event on the alligator clade, and you could have, for whatever reason, a group that didn't have ISOs across the body, bottlenecking event, and then they proliferate, and it just never comes back. You know, and there's not like a reason why. It's just like something that happened to happen like that, and then it just kind of keeps going like that. You know what I'm saying?
What about caiman? Do they have it?
Caiman are freshwater crocodilians, but yeah, they have it on
So
every
they-
scale. Yeah. Only alligators. Alligators are separate. You have alligators, caiman, and then crocodilians.
Didn't alligators and crocodiles like evolve completely separate? Is that true?
Alligators and crocodiles?
Completely separate.
Well, no, I mean they're within. I
thought they're
crocodilian.
divergent.
They're all crocodilians. No, it's
Yeah.
not a case of convergent evolution. So there's things like phytosaurs, and those are extinct. Those aren't around anymore. But that's a case of convergent evolution where you had a crocodiliform evolve that is not related to crocodilians.
But so this is an actual question, because I think, you know where I actually think I heard this was at one of those ones by the Everglades. The guy was like doing a show. Remember that crawl thing we filmed?
Yeah.
I went to some event for it, and it was just at the place. Obviously, I was much overqualified to be in the crowd, you know, as a crocodilian expert. The three of us. But he was saying that they're like evolved completely separately, and they just happen to be very similar.
Yeah, but those guys also have a high school
Yeah.
education.
Is
so
that so? That's completely false.
Look,
I've thought that the whole time.
they can say whatever they want.
That's,
But
yeah.
When did they
they're-
break apart?
I had a guide that was in. I sent it to him. One of the crocodile guides in the Everglades posted a snake the other day, and he's like, "Guys, I found a queen snake at the the Everglades, and I was like, a queen snake? And I was like, those are found in like Australia or something, right?
Well, no, we do have queen snakes in the same.
No,
crayfish-
but it was a different scaled queen snake. Like I sent it to you, and it's not even in the United States. Like, but he put that on his story that that's what he found, and then it turned out to just be a DeKay's brown snake, which is like a little bitty native snake. But he's like a reptile expert on Instagram, and I was like,
wait,
what is
though,
that?
alligators and crocodiles are really closely, like they evolved, and when did they like
They
split
share a
apart?
common ancestor, so they're not a case
Yeah.
of convergent evolution.
When did they split apart though? Like a long time ago, evolutionarily, or no?
Yes, I know that number somewhere in my brain.
So that's just a false fact that I had.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
guy's wrong.
That's
that guy's
crazy.
straight up wrong. So,
I used to think that was so interesting, and there's a reason it was interesting. It was false.
So
It wasn't possible.
there are really cool cases of convergent evolution in crocodilians. You know, like I just said, like there's these things called phytosaurs that are extinct, and they look just like a crocodile. But you know how like crocodilians have their nostrils at the end?
Yeah.
Phytosaurs had them right up here.
Yeah.
So that's a cool one. You know, that's one of the differences you could tell between the two. Or ichthyosaurs and dolphins is one of the coolest convergent evolution cases where you have a reptilian dolphin that went extinct, and then mammalian dolphins came. Like, so there are cases, you know, like are mind-blowingly cool. But the crocodiles and alligators do share a common ancestor, yes.
So they're pretty closely related, like as close as you can get.
No, well, depends what close means to you. Okay, so like, I mean, you're closer to like an opossum than an alligator is to a crocodile.
So maybe the guy was kind of saying that.
I mean,
I don't know. That's interesting to me. I don't know.
It comes
even
down to what
I'm
you
asking,
would
but-
consider to be close and whatnot. But I mean, they do share a common ancestor. They are not a case of convergent evolution, no.
So when you guys like come up with stuff like that, like them eating the stones and gravel and stuff, how do you get closer to that? If like we have like so many theories, is there a chance we just never know? Like,
No, they're doing a lot of like really cool research, and I always think science is so specific. So it's like, I don't work on anything like that, but I read the studies and like what they're doing in different areas, more of like captive studies, like putting them in swim tanks and like testing their buoyancy, like doing the electromagnetic fields and stuff to see how they react in different areas. They've also like taken all those like ISOs, cut them up, and like, you know, like necropsy them and try to figure out like what's going on with the nerve endings there and like what it could possibly be inside there. So they're trying to figure it out, but some of it's like speculation, you know, because you can't ask a crocodile or alligator how they feel or what they're doing or why. So you have
I've
to
seen
like,
Chris talk to him and they come sit at his feet.
yeah, well,
Yeah, but
those ones are captive. They're trained. They know him. They recognize
comfortable, so
him.
they'll talk to him.
Yeah, those are like dogs. Like
Yeah.
he's got those.
I'm gonna break your neck.
He hates when people say that.
I hate when people say that.
Dude, you're gonna get on the Daily Star.
Oh my
Bikini-clad scientist gets
Assaulted
threatened
by
to break
alligator
her
wrestler.
neck.
Yeah,
we
wait, you said that on
that's-
camera. You just threatened me.
It's too late.
Chris,
Too late now, no going back.
Oh man.
put that out there. No one respects
Well,
me.
Gets threatened by other scientists with dog alligators with pets.
Well-
That's gonna be the headline.
Along what she was saying, what's really cool with that ISO study is they found 10 times the sensitivity of a human fingertip.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
on
crazy,
every
right?
on every
If
single
you think
one.
about that, what they were saying is like, you know, there's a fish that could be across the channel, and it like gives them the ability to like feel the vibrations in the water and like know where like everything's moving, like without seeing. Because if you think about it, like the visibility in a lot of the water they inhabit is like so low. So like, how do they know where their prey's at or what's happening? So if you think about like how in tune they are with their environment, especially crocodilians having one on every scale of their body, it's kind of wild.
It's almost like a lateral line, kind of
A what?
similar.
That is a comparison some people do make.
It's like how a shark might feel that or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
It's-
interesting.
But again, we don't really understand that much, you know, so it's a lot of guessing.
Yeah.
Just got to get Casper to roll over on his boys and tell us the stuff.
I know, right?
He like he's holding out on us. But so, anyways, let's quickly talk about, if you know Gatorboys Chris, like talk about the operation that you've currently been running for a while, because it's pretty cool. Like, so when
Wait, the new venture?
no before, so
Okay.
just to introduce, so when there's like a nuisance gator, when it's over 4 feet, they can't rehome it.
Right, so the state of Florida, their policy is gators over 4 feet, as far as nuisance alligators causing an issue, are killed or put into captivity. They don't allow relocation of gators over 4 feet. So sadly, they do typically kill them. Now, I've been lucky enough to work with a group of people and work under one trapper who does actually go out and save them. And so we'll go out and we'll actually catch them and bring them back to captivity instead of having them killed. Because the state kills about 8,000 of these nuisance gators each year.
Yeah, like what is the distinction of it being a nuisance?
Someone feels threatened. So, like, you could be a total moron and be like, I feel threatened by this because it scares me. And now he's going to die. Doesn't have to do anything wrong. And so we get so many of those calls where it's
So
just
what? Like this, the cops come out and just shoot it?
well, a licensed trapper. Technically, it's supposed to only be the licensed trapper that actually handles it. That's not always the case, but yeah.
So then you bring them to your facility?
So I don't own the places I work at, and I do a lot of my videos at. I did just buy my own place that will be doing that, yes.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah.
Because that's exciting. When you were telling me earlier, that's going to be really cool.
I mean, I've been very fortunate to work at many different facilities in South Florida, and I've worked with their animals for a long time, and it's awesome, and I'm very thankful, but I did just finally buy my own place. So I have 40 acres, and I just got it about 6 months ago. So I'm building that up right now, and that is a mission and a half.
Oh, I'm sure. We were talking about earlier, you're digging ponds.
Yeah, digging ponds, putting up fences, making enclosures, and I don't just work with alligators. You know, I run a nonprofit animal rescue, so we have all kinds of crazy stuff. We got fennec foxes, we got a quadrimundi, we got a dozen parrots, we have so many tortoises.
A lot of tortoises.
Yeah, a lot of tortoises get out, especially in South Florida, or get dumped, and I end up with so many tortoises.
You know what's crazy? For being such a slow animal, they sure are escape
They get going,
artists.
man. Yeah.
I've heard of so many tortoises go missing. You never believe that they're...
Yeah.
But they get missing.
Yeah.
In
We
St.
just found
Louis.
one next to my house.
Yeah,
The one
yeah.
that we sent a picture of. Massive.
Really?
Yeah. Frank
By
found
your
it.
place.
My roommate found it in the park right next door. It's huge, like the size of this table. Massive.
Was it like an escapee?
Yeah, it's somebody's pet.
Or
They just
dumped.
dumped it there, yeah, for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
or they
yeah,
dump
yeah.
it?
They for
It-
sure dumped it there.
In St. Louis, a place that does not have giant turtles, one got loose in Chesterfield. I forget
Yeah.
that you're from St. Louis. And literally, they were looking for it for like 2 months.
They're
and
hard to
someone
find.
found it randomly, like
Yeah.
walking behind their house.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised, man.
Like a giant animal that moves very like deliberately, and they're
They
like,
really can climb, and they're so strong. And so people don't understand, they're so strong. So they will like go through a fence. They'll just
Like
sit there and
ram
just
it.
like bam,
Yeah.
bam,
Yeah.
bam, just for weeks,
Yeah.
and eventually weaken it enough, and they get through. It's
they
crazy.
got nothing else. They're just like they're slow moving. So
Yeah.
a week is probably not that long to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I end up with so many tortoises, though. It's crazy.
That's
it's
wild.
funny because people most people know me as the gator guy, you know.
Yeah.
And then like some people know me specifically and only as the tortoise guy. And like, well, yeah, that's the
Got a
tortoise
lot of
guy.
birds though too.
Yeah, birds too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tortoise boy
Yeah,
Chris doesn't
tortoise-
have the same.
Wait, we should rebrand that.
Yeah,
That's
I swear to God, like I get produce donations, and that lady only knows me as the tortoise guy. She has no idea I work with alligators.
that's
I
crazy.
love that.
That's like people being big in like Japan or something. Like you're big in the tortoise community as well. I told Rosie last time we did the podcast, I was trying to get her to be a frog expert, Rosie the Ribbeter.
Rosie Ribbeter.
It just has a ring to it.
It does.
And then I
That's
told her
right.
I would. She's like, you can be the manager, and you've sent me no frog stuff to post.
Yeah, that's messed up. I'll get on that.
I'm trying to run a business
Yeah.
here, and I got no frog content.
That's
Don't
on
you think
me.
she
That's
could
on
be a
my
good
end.
frog
Yeah.
expert?
Be the frog advocate.
That's what I'm gonna
That
save the
Instagram
frogs.
would go crazy.
I'm over snakes. We're saving frogs.
Rosie the
There you go.
Ribbeter, dude.
Yeah.
You know how many people would be?
I'm gonna rescue cane toads. I'm gonna let everybody bring
Yes,
home into my
there you
house.
go.
I'm gonna have like 90 like massive cane toads in my house.
Oh my god, I didn't even
If I
think
didn't
about
think
that.
I was single before, I'm definitely gonna be when I
Well,
start my
talk
cane
about-
toad rescue.
Speaking of your rescue, talk about you just got your croc permits. Are we allowed to say that?
Yeah, I'm getting my class too, so I'm gonna get caiman and alligators. I'm only gonna get a dwarf to start with.
So
A
let's
dwarf
let's
caiman.
negotiate right now. It sounds like we could have a turf war brewing right now. We got 2 people that are gonna start doing
My
croc
only
stuff.
thing is I don't have land, so they just gotta stay at my house. So I can only have them until they're 4 feet. So I gotta figure it out after that.
Then you move them in.
And then I move in with
I have the
Chris,
facility
and-
to deal with the unprofessional, inexperienced people that have them in their homes.
The up and comers, as they say.
the inexperienced professionals that have 1,000 documented hours and professional experience to obtain permits through FWC.
I think they should change that law.
So
I
what?
mean, well,
That's some haterade right there.
No,
he doesn't
no,
want
no,
you to
no,
have
it's-
him, Rosie.
No, it's
He's
fine.
just mad because if I do it, it's less cool. I have this theory
No,
where
you
like,
can have no.
where
You
like all
by
my
all
guy
means.
friends are all big and tough, but like when I do what they do, it like looks less cool.
Oh,
Like
whatever.
if he does
Oh,
something, it looks
oh
like
my
nobody
God.
else can do it.
I
but,
take
like,
you
if
places.
I do it,
I will take you and film you with. I don't even need to be in it. No,
Okay.
it's fine.
You know what?
But
Actually,
the point I'm making,
Right.
No, really. Like, so they have this thing where you can get your 4 foot and under permit at your house. What are you doing? It's over 4 feet.
But the thing is, so I was
I don't know.
hesitant. I was hesitant to get it because I was like, I can only have something up until 4 feet, and I was like, what do I do with it after?
Well,
4
you can
feet?
get it. There's no problem with you having it. I'm not.
Well,
picking
I
on
know,
you.
but I was like, what do I do with it after it gets to 4 feet?
You have connections. You know
I
everybody.
have connections, so everybody convinced me. Like I have like 5 friends that could take it at their place. So they're like, there's 2 options. They're like, either you get alligators and you raise them, don't get attached, and you farm them out. So you can give it to an alligator farm,
Rosie, you monster.
Alligators aren't worth any money until they're bigger. So people don't want
They're
hatchlings.
priceless. They're not worth money anyways, you monster. You're going to sell off your pet gators?
All right, so I'm raising gators for me. Anyways.
That's messed up,
No, that's
dude.
not what I'm doing, but it's an option.
Sounds like you considered it.
Yeah.
I thought about it. But also, I have the connections to where, like, I want to get a dwarf caiman. So the females only get, like, what, 3.9 feet typically if they sex it right and don't, like, give you a male on accident. Because it's hard to sex the hatchlings. So my
Shouldn't
plan
be
is...
sexing any of them, but anyways. It's
So
another
I was like,
headline
I'm just
right
going to
there.
get a dwarf caiman, and it'll stay under 4 feet, and I can have it forever.
I heard Rosie the Riveter sexing child crocodilians. That's what I heard.
Like,
So I fingered a few crocodilians
hatchlings. Not even
just to
child
check.
bait, like infants.
Well, you gotta
Right.
do it.
You're a
It's
monster.
for
Sell
science.
Sell them right into the meat trade.
She sexes them and then lets someone else eat them.
Rosie's fingering crocodiles and selling them.
Yeah, I saw on your TikTok thing. Oh, you got to stick your finger somewhere. Can you elaborate
do.
on that?
That's how you
Elaborate
sex
on
them.
it.
You literally like the first time I did it, I was like, really? You just like stick a finger up there, and they're like, yeah, like stick it in there and see if you feel anything hard. And I was,
I'm actually gonna clip that 5 seconds.
Just that piece.
The first time you do it, you just stick it in until somebody feels something hard, and then.
that's really how you sex them.
I mean, not making a joke. That is what you do.
So then, what are you feeling for?
So you're
It's called
wiener.
a penis.
The penis.
It's a scientific term.
is it?
What is the crocodile or gator penis?
They have
Yeah.
cloacas.
Yeah. Okay.
Cloacas,
So okay.
So that's
what
like
I
the
thought
whole.
that was
It's
a
like the
female
opening.
one.
Let me blow your mind with some actual knowledge here. So,
Blow me
crocodilian.
mind with.
Some actual
So
knowledge.
the crocodilian penis is only for reproduction, not for. They don't pee out of it.
Oh,
So it is strictly a reproductive organ.
single purpose. I like that.
It's
All business.
Isn't that interesting?
All business. I like that. These guys are serious. When
Yeah.
that thing comes out, oh, it's time.
Yeah.
They're not bringing it out for no reason.
Now, why is this so hard to tell? Is because that is internal until they are ready for action. So they have the cloaca, that is the all-purpose where everything comes and goes from. So reproductive and going to the bathroom.
That's where Rosie's poking
It's
around.
the same with snakes. They've got a cloaca.
Okay, so let's get down to brass tacks. What are they packing? Like, what's a crocodile
What are they
wiener like?
Okay, so you've seen my tours and stuff.
Oh,
So every once in a
I know
while,
what you're about to say. Yeah, I've
So-
seen your tour. It's like, so you've seen. All right,
so
anyway.
you've seen some things with me,
Yeah.
and and so during my tour before, Casper's literally just swam by and somebody's like in there like, oh, the alligator, and he just like just sticks it out and then
No
pulls it back
way.
in. And they're like, what was that?
How hot was the chick? Casper was flexing. He's like, hey, once Chris leaves, like,
He's done it. It's funny. It's
So
definitely
how
funny.
big was it? I mean, you don't got to say Casper. I've never seen a gator wiener. Is it big or little?
I mean, it's respectable.
That thing just got erect right there. That thing just went straight up. So I've seen shark
Define
wieners.
respectable though. I feel like you need to give more details.
Oh my god,
You're the expert.
There you
Tell
go.
us.
I want to hear what he thinks is respectable though. And then I want to give my opinion.
I recuse
know.
myself from the discussion.
I've seen so sharks have 2 wieners. They only got gators 1.
Right. Snakes
Tough.
got 2.
Yeah.
Snakes have
Hemipenes.
2.
Yeah.
No way. Are
Yeah.
they called claspers or no?
No, hemipenes.
Yeah.
Hemipenis.
It like comes out of the 2 little.
So they
Comes out of
are
their
they like
cloaca.
are they like together or like I
They're,
mean
like,
no one
separate.
watching this, I guarantee, well maybe some of your friends watching this, 90% of people I know watching this have never seen this. So I'm actually interested. It's like an
Some
interesting
weird
question.
stuff.
But like everyone, as much as we don't like to talk about it, people are like, oh, I wonder what that looks like. Like, is it a snake's got 2 wieners like this?
They look weird. I mean,
Are they
you
breeding
don't
with
want to go down
only
this,
one of them?
You don't want to go down this rabbit hole.
Why?
There's so much weirdness. Like, you look up a duck penis.
I was about to say
Duck,
that.
Yeah.
I've
duck
seen
breeding
one.
is brutal.
Yeah.
Like some
I've
of the
actually
females
seen one.
drowned, like they'll like hold them under. Like breeding in general.
Depends
is
what they
brutal.
like. I don't know.
Like the manatee orgy, it's like
yeah.
all these
Tell
males
us about that.
like on a female, and like the females are exhausted. It's same with like turtles and like ducks and like so many animals. It's mostly like an orgy where like so many newts. I just watched a newt orgy the other day.
That's NEWT.
Yeah, a newt. It's like a
Rosie, you
supplement,
watch more
and
orgies than
so many
anybody I
animal
know.
orgies.
You watched a
The
nude orgy.
tabloids have something right, and
So how many? Like,
but like
let's talk
mating
numbers.
in the
In the
wild.
nude orgy, how
are,
many
like,
numbers are we talking?
In the nude
Well-
orgy, it was only 3. So it was like
Oh,
2 males
that's-
on a female, but it can be a lot. Like it'll form like a mating ball,
Yeah.
and it'll be like so many men competing for the female that usually the female's exhausted after.
Or they kill her.
Why?
Or
She's
yeah,
probably,
or they
yeah,
kill her.
She
Like
can't
sea
breathe.
turtles.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It's
Sea
sad.
turtles,
Kind of
ducks,
defeats the purpose
everything.
of mating if the mom
Yeah.
dies.
Yeah. It's yeah, not a pretty world.
One time I was at Queenie Park. You know where that is?
No.
In St. Louis?
Where is this
from there?
going?
Anyways, I saw this one duck. I was fishing. It might have chased this female around for an hour and a half. And like he was incessant. And then
Yeah.
I don't even know if he ended up sealing the deal.
It's
I was tired and I
It's
was
a
just watching it.
Different worlds
Yeah.
breeding in like the animal kingdom.
Ducks
I-
would be canceled so fast.
I
They do
tried.
some bad
Ducks would be
things.
canceled.
like I've got some ducks, you know, and one of my rescue ducks was raised indoors without other ducks, and it was raised with dogs, and so it tries to breed my dogs incessantly.
Hold on,
Incessantly.
what?
Yeah, it's really bad. Has no interest in the other ducks, like zero interest in the other ducks.
It's dog sexual.
Yeah, it really is, and especially like
Does
just
he
try.
do it?
I mean, I got to break it up, like, you know. I mean, because the dog doesn't obviously understand and thinks it's being attacked, and like the dog's like gonna kill the duck, you know, and the duck is just
yeah, that's
trying
rape, dude. He doesn't like. I feel like that's
it's-
self-defense.
It's gnarly, man. I mean,
Wow.
so yeah, so like I mean, so I have a really hard time trying to explain this to people, you know, like, and I'm trying to explain like in a nice way online, 'cause, you know, I have a lot of kids that follow me, and I'm like, how do I say this, like in a nice, like,
Right.
you know, so like all duck sex is violent. It's not nice, you know.
Yeah, they don't. There's no candles lit. There's no nice dinner. It's just like
no, it is not.
run and gun.
Anyways, let's change this topic.
that's crazy though.
Yeah.
I've never heard of a duck trying to hook up with a dog.
Yeah.
Good for the duck though. Big dreams. But that's funny that it grew up around dogs. I wonder if it's like
okay,
imprinted.
So here we can take an educational turn on this
Yeah.
morbid story. So this is what happens where and this person tried to do the right thing. That duck, I think the mother was hit by a car and the baby was abandoned, and so they raised it inside the house, trying to do the nice thing, right? But because they raised it alone without other ducks, it is dog sexual now, like 100%.
That's actually what it is.
That's what happened. It never saw another duck its whole life. And
so it's like imprinted. That was all it saw.
yeah, and then people, you know,
Wow.
and like yeah, so it does not know it's a duck, and it does not have any interest in the other ducks, and so this can be something that backfires. You try to do the right thing. Oh, it's an abandoned baby duck. I'm gonna raise it, and then it just becomes this dog raping machine. Like
So if you did it with any other animal, it would just see that. Like if it was with like
It depends-
salamanders or something.
it
Like,
depends what kind of animal we're talking about. You know, certain animals imprint. You know, like birds often imprint. You know, I don't know how their sexual selection works
Right.
at all. I have no idea. But
I've
apparently,
never heard of that in other things. Like I've never heard of a duck trying to like. I know we're joking, but I do think it's like kind of scientifically interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
I've
is.
never really heard of that.
Yeah, I
Do
never
any
want to hear of it
fish or
again.
like ocean? Do any like ocean animals do that? Like I've never
Well-
heard of like imprinting's kind of a pretty like narrow
I've only
thing,
really,
isn't it?
I've heard about it in birds mostly. Like I know
Yeah.
Yeah.
birds, it's really common, especially like eagles and really intelligent birds to imprint. Like especially people at like rehab centers and stuff, they try to keep birds away from people as much as possible because they'll
Really?
imprint on the people.
Yeah.
So like even like South Florida
puppets.
Wildlife Center, yeah, they'll
Oh
put
yeah. I
they'll
have
put
seen
them
that.
away.
Shout out to
Yeah.
Wildlife Shan.
Yes, Shannon's who exactly who I'm talking about because I go see her all the time. So she'll show me like the birds that they're keeping in the back.
And
Because
shout
like
out to that Danny too,
who?
our boyfriend.
Oh yeah,
I like that guy.
yeah, he's great.
He's a nice guy. I just like to shout him out.
Shout
I
him
always
out.
respond to his stories. I'm like, hell yeah, you know, like he's becoming a herper.
I like that for him.
He's been catching herps lately. He has.
I love that for him.
Late at night, he's
Love
been
that.
catching herps. I'm
Just
telling
going
you, I
out.
saw the video.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So, moving on from animal sex.
Please.
And I know this is kind of a tough topic, but you know the gator that was found with someone in their mouth or whatever, like, was that a scavenging thing? Did they know what happened there?
Well, it was a homeless woman is the last thing that I heard, and so from that point we don't know anything else. So I have no idea. She could have been trying to like bathe in the canal. She could have got drunk and walked in there, and in that case it would have been predatory. Or you know you could. I have no idea this person's history, but
Right.
in like in Florida, people OD a lot and then fall in the
Fall,
water.
yeah.
That happen, or people get murdered a lot
Yeah.
in Florida and dumped in canals. So like we have no other evidence so far to know which direction that went, whether or not it scavenged the body or actually hunted the person or whatever.
That was my response to everybody too. I was like, I don't actually know if she was dead when the gator got her or if she died as a result of the gator getting her. I was like, until you find that out, like you really can't comment on like the situation because
Or she
two
was,
very
like, in
different
tough shape,
situations.
in the waters, like flailing around.
And doing
just-
stuff
you
like that. If
just
you're
don't know.
acting like prey and you're vulnerable, like we talked about, like they want an easy meal. Like it's just natural instincts.
So one thing to that point, Rosie, I've once again, these are things I've told my friends, so now I'm just doing a fact check. But this is an open space because I'm admitting I don't know. This is what I've suggested.
Yeah.
Whenever people from Missouri or other places, oh, you're crazy, dude, gators, all stuff. The thing I've always said that I read, I don't know if it's true, I'm asking, 90% of gators, until it gets to like a giant size, they're not going to hunt a human of like our size, right?
Unless you're swimming.
Really?
So it's
Like even like something as big as you?
it's about perception. So what happens, the big risk is if you're swimming and you're in murky water and the alligator's on the surface, his eye is only about an inch above the water and he's looking out across that plane of water. What does he see? The top of your head and your arms flapping. You're a funny looking duck, bro. So they
But
will...
we don't have big game hunters like Niles or Salties. Those are known to actively hunt and prey on
Right.
humans, whereas we have American crocodiles and alligators, which are not known to actively hunt and prey on humans. There will be, like he said, in scenarios like you've explained when people are in the water and doing that, where there's an identity
Like
confusion.
mistaken idea. Like
You
it's-
look
it's his
like
perception.
prey, but they won't do what Salties or Niles do, where they
Yeah.
wait by the docks and are actively hunting
Right.
you. Yeah.
So like when a kid gets killed at Disneyland, it's always sad at Disney World. Like I'm not trivializing it, but I'm saying like when you're on the bank, it's normally like a tiny toddler or something. Like on the bank, they're almost never gonna attack
Something
an
that's
adult.
prey sized, yeah, like a
Right?
small child or a dog, especially if you have a dog. A lot of the cases we have here are when people are walking their dogs next to the water, and either they grab the dog and the person tries to fight back, or something along those lines, because the dog looks like a small mammal that would be prey for.
It is, yeah.
the alligator.
So like, but someone our size, they're not never, but like it'd have to be like a 14-foot gator to even think about that, or
Well,
even less.
So even then, I have never heard of an alligator pulling an adult person standing upright off of a bank that's not in the water.
Okay,
without
so
a dog.
Without
I
a
have
dog.
heard of it happening, but the girl had a dog.
Yeah.
She was attached to the leash. Or
She
you're
was,
saying
I never saw the video of exactly what happened. Obviously, somebody died, so they don't release that video. But she was walking a dog. That older lady that just
Yeah.
died recently.
how was there a video of it? Like a ring camera?
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
she's in like a neighborhood and she was walking a dog, and I
didn't-
don't remember if it grabbed her dog and then she went for it or something happened
The
where
dog's like right next to her leg.
was-
and
yeah.
it got her
Yeah.
leg instead of the dog. You know, she's not paying attention.
Yeah.
The dog reflexes, jumps out of the way, gets her leg.
So for people not from, because I feel like Florida people know this more, or like they don't
Well,
care at all about gators.
Well,
Some,
so I just looked up this stat. Literally today, I did a video talking about this. It was 444,000 people moved to Florida between 2021 and 2022.
I hate those
wild.
people.
Yeah, thanks, New York and California.
Couldn't be me, but stay out of Florida.
But-
That's what I tell people, man.
But
Tired
of those
them moving.
people, how many of them know anything about alligators?
I think a lot of people,
443,999, because I do.
yeah, they think
know?
you're like if you see one, it's gonna kill you on sight.
That's what
like
I'm
that's
saying.
why so many get called in as nuisance gators too. They're literally thermoregulating, so their mouths are just like open. Oh,
We knew it was
damn
coming.
I use that word
You made
again.
it 49 minutes in, Rosie. That was good.
Everybody take a shot.
That was good. That's her favorite. She dropped, I
love
think,
that
6
word.
of them last podcast.
Frank said he's gonna make me a shirt that says I'm thermoregulating.
You've been kind of like going low
Sorry,
in the
I
lingo
had
so
to
far.
use it.
You know, I feel like your lingo this podcast. I guess you did ISB. Last time she was slinging lingo everywhere, Chris.
I
You
had a
should've
couple
seen-
glasses of wine.
Yeah, she was
yeah.
talking lingo left and right. No, but so for people that aren't from here, I feel like that is a good thing to kind of like disperse. If you're standing on the bank, don't be stupid. But there's almost zero chance that a gator's just gonna randomly try.
Yeah,
to
just
attack you.
because it's sitting there, especially if it's like mouth open and it's literally just doing its thing. That's not like a defensive thing usually.
Yeah.
It's just controlling its body temperature. So it's not threatening you. But I have so many people that'll send me pictures of crocodiles, especially now that they're rebounding, like just chilling on a bank with their mouths open. So they call it in as a nuisance. And
Right.
like they had that study come out where they relocated nuisance crocodilians and like they don't respond well to it. Like they actually will do everything in their power to get back to the spot they were located in.
No way. Even
Yeah.
if it's like 10, 15
It
miles
was
away.
the craziest study. Like these crocodiles, it's been like a year getting back to the spot they were captured in. FWC just published it, I think 3 or 4 months ago.
Yeah.
What is that? Magnetic? Like they know where.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's it called? You did those. What are those maps called?
GIS.
ArcGIS.
Yeah.
I learned. See, I listened.
Learned.
I was listening. But that's like one myth that I think, because like people just so commonly, dude, I don't want to get, Like it's
They think they're like a monster. It's like a monster movie.
like that's crazy.
It's obsessed with eating humans. And
Yeah.
the line I always say is there's over 1 million alligators in the state of Florida. If they want to eat people, you'd have people dying every single day.
Yeah.
Every single day in Florida, we have hundreds of thousands of people within probably 50 feet of an alligator. Like every day, if you go canoeing, paddle boarding, kayaking, most of the time you're coming within a couple hundred feet of an alligator. Like if you're out there without even knowing.
Right.
And they're not aggressive. They're not chasing people down, ripping them out of kayaks.
If anything, they're afraid of you most of the time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Especially like crocodiles. Like we both have had to catch American crocs, and I was just telling somebody how hard it is to catch an American croc. I was
Yeah.
like, especially if the water's deep, I was like, they're so scared of us. Like as soon as you try to get a noose around it, it just disappears.
Yeah.
So let's talk about American crocs for a second. So when I was growing up, like my whole family's been going to the Keys. So like it used to be back in like Cape Sable, like like I would see them
Yeah.
sometimes. Now we're seeing a lot more like in Islamorada, in
Yeah.
the Keys, and all that. Their numbers are rebounding pretty good.
They're finally rebounding. It's over 2,000 now. They were
that's
really,
from where,
really
like-
low. And you know what's crazy is like one of their best breeding locations right now is the Turkey Point power plant.
No way.
Yeah. It's like all along there. It's like once they built that structure, now the crocodiles are using that to put all their nests there.
It's miles
That's
and miles
crazy.
of
Yeah.
warm water coming out of
Uh-huh.
the power
Yeah.
plant, and so
And they love
they're
it.
very cold sensitive
Yeah.
compared to the alligator. So like that's why they're only in extreme South Florida. They'll start heading up. We get them up in like Vero and stuff like that.
Yeah, what was that one by the dock or the pier the other
Pompano,
day?
I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is that the most north, probably?
Well, here's the
Well,
thing.
they can be on the other coast too, and up by Naples. I've had some reported lately. So they can be further north, but they like
We
it
get
further south.
But then when we get a cold snap, they're fried.
Yeah, yeah.
They're what? They just
They
shut-
won't survive.
Really?
No, they die. Yeah, yeah. So if we get a hard cold snap, all those crocs that head that far north, they get killed. So that's
Really?
why we have a naturally low number of American crocodiles in Florida.
Same with Cayman.
Really? So Cayman are just Everglades.
They're not cold tolerant too. They stay south. That's why their population's more contained.
So is there a cap on how many American crocodiles we could get to? Because it's like sounds like it could only be a certain like range, right?
I mean, every land has a carrying capacity, so
Yeah.
technically speaking, like obviously there is a limited number that the land could sustain
So
before
it's
they
from,
start
like,
out
Key
competing
West
each
to
other.
the Everglades, probably.
No, it depends how much global warming goes on.
Yeah, I mean they
Yeah,
go more
true.
north. I mean they're up in
See 'em in
Naples
New York
and
soon.
like
They're going farther
Yeah.
north than ever. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they're being seen.
And what's
farther
too
and farther
cold
north.
that would kill them?
So like in 2010.
I remember that.
Yeah, that was crazy. We had crocs in extreme South Florida dropping dead. It got so cold, and then it was extended cold with cloud cover,
Yeah.
and that was just killing everything. I mean, snook were dying, the crocs were dying.
Oh, I was seeing bonefish floating. I've never seen anything like that in
Yeah.
my life. There was like, I was standing on the dock and there would be fish just like floating, like they were like trying to stay alive. That was one of the most trippy things because you couldn't even do anything about it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like we'd just
Yeah.
be looking. Remember how many back in Flamingo there'd be like sheets of like a football field of dead fish, like snook, tarpon. Like that was crazy.
And that's what dictates the range of a species sometimes.
Yeah.
Events like that can literally change the course of a species,
But like how often would that be happening, you think?
That's not, I don't know the answer to that.
But like
don't either.
before
Like cold
2010,
snaps?
when was the last one that was that bad? Not during my lifetime, I don't think.
Yeah, not that I know of.
Because that was the first one. I remember it. It was like 30-something degrees, and I was in the Keys. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah.
you guys are so old. That was like my freshman year in high school in Missouri.
We're like the same
I don't even know what
age,
you're
dude.
talking about.
You're
You're like
so
30
late.
something.
Then why do you look so
30-something?
But you look
Aren't you 27?
Yeah, you're like
be
ancient.
quiet. I'm
You're
the
like
same
you're
age
like
as you.
6 months away from 40.
How old are you?
That's a fucked up question.
ahead,
Don't
answer
say
that.
that. Don't
No,
take
my
that
birthday
back.
was literally last weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, last weekend.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Yeah, 36.
And we get. That's rude. I hate when people ask me how. If once you're past like 25, don't ask
Stop
someone how old they
asking.
are. Like I hate when people ask me that. You know, it's like then I don't know what to say. Then I like pause, and then it's like awkward. You know. So you just did that to him. That's messed
Yep.
up. And you're gonna be old too someday. Anyways, so the thing to me, when I first saw those Crocs in the Everglades, I remember one had half his jaw ripped off. Is that like one? I don't know if you guys like know that one.
At the dock in Flamingo?
Yes, in
Yeah.
Flamingo.
Yeah.
Is he still
It's
there?
a mainstay. Actually, last year somebody called it in because he had actually fishing line completely wrapped around and closing its mouth. So we had to call somebody out to remove
Did
it.
you guys go get it off?
We didn't, but we called somebody to go
got
respond
it
to
off.
it because it was like on a weekend, like overnight. Like yeah, and they took care of it.
How'd they catch him?
Probably
Oh,
just
everybody
snared it.
feeds those ones.
Yeah, those ones are so well fed.
Yeah, but that thing's got to be 1,000+ pounds, right?
I mean, you can catch them. We pull them up on the boats all the time.
1,000-pound croc.
Yeah, it's not that hard. I mean, we would even catch like
That's
13-foot gators.
Like 2 curls
and
for this
you
guy.
pull them up on the boat.
He puts it on a barbell and he's
usually you get them on like a line. Like you'll have a snare that goes around their neck. You close the mouth, you tape it shut, and then you'll have somebody grab the front, grab the middle, grab the back, and pull it up on a boat. But there,
Is
it's
going
like
nuts.
Well, so you usually let them tire themselves out in the water.
You'll let them roll. So, like, once they're on the line, you'll let them, like, wear themselves out. And they'll, like, death roll. They'll flail. And you usually, like, give it a few minutes, get your data sheets ready, and let them, like, calm down. Because you want them to get their energy out. You don't want to pull it. If you pull one fresh out of the water, it's going to...
destroy the boat.
It's going to buck you off. But then, like, once you have it on the boat, you'll do things like pull up its back feet and...
Start sticking things in. That's what you do when it's on the boat. I'm not making that up.
No. You'll pull up like its back feet and like put your feet under it, and then you'll pull up its front feet usually too, and its front jaw, and it takes its power away, so it can't like buck you off as easy. Like you'll do certain things to like restrain it to the point where it can't use its full force to get you off it.
And people don't know too, like their power comes from in the water. Right? Like a gator, like outside. People are worried about gators like chasing them now. I know they're somewhat fast, but it's like it doesn't want to be out of the water.
They're pretty strong though. Like especially caiman. Caiman are like shorter and stouter, but like pound for pound, those things are strong.
So fast too.
I've seen one that was like 5 feet buck off my coworker. Like in a lab, we had it restrained, like completely tied up, and he had it down. And my coworker was like Chris's size, like a big guy, and this 5-foot caiman.
Size, yeah.
No, and like, it completely like bucked him off, like threw him across the room and just took off. And he was in the reptile room and he was just like running wild. And we're like, we gotta catch this thing.
What'd you do? Just waited?
We all jumped on it. We all had to like get it together
because
it was so
Oh, well,
it was just so strong.
I think it was the record one that
that you guys had out in the shed.
So yeah, it was just me and my buddy Ed, and we caught the record caiman for Florida. It was like 7 something.
Oh way!
It's a big caiman.
That's crazy.
Caiman. And oh my god, how did that play out exactly? But like Ed was on it, and it like we were trying to. I don't want to like mess up the story. I'm sorry, Ed, if he says it. I'm gonna mess up the story. But we're trying to do something with the jaws, whatever, and that thing shook him down, and Ed like slid forward, and then it came out like between his legs behind him with the jaws, and like it shook off whatever I don't remember how exactly this happened, but it shook
his legs with his mouth
and
open.
It shook off, and I just jumped him, and Ed was like, "I'm so glad you were there," because if it was just like somebody that doesn't have the fight in him, you would have been toast.
That could have been a tough day.
Because, I mean, you get moments like that where, like, how do you want to say it? Like, some people, like, you got that survival instinct or you don't. And, like, when things go wrong, either you're going to handle it or you're going to freeze up. And I've been in those situations, and I've seen people freeze up and, like, it ain't pretty, And that's
which people are going to do. Like, I have friends that I know. One of my boys, Freaky Petey, I know no matter what, I could be on the edge of a thing. Like, he's going to be game time. And I have friends that I know. Because, like, certain people, like, it's not even their fault.
Yeah.
But you just get, like, scared and then they don't know what to do. You know what I'm saying?
That's what Ed was like. He was like, I was so glad it was you there. Because, I mean, I'll straight jump that thing on tape.
It's experience,
whatever.
too, though.
Yeah.
That was a record one, though, for, like, the lab. Like, we couldn't even, like, I heard about it, obviously. Everybody used to talk about it at the lab, that, like, you guys couldn't even put it in, like, a normal transport, like, container. Like, you guys had to contain it in, like, a whole different way. Because, like, we didn't have something to even contain a caiman of that size.
Yeah.
Because we're not used to capturing ones that big.
But, like, to put this in perspective, too, is, like, I would rather handle, like, a 10-foot alligator than a 6-foot caiman.
Yeah.
Really?
Like, untaped, like, barehanded, like, no tools. I can handle like a 10-foot gator easier than a 6-foot caiman. They're so
pound
fast.
for pound. Yeah, they're so strong.
So if there was like a 12-foot caiman, it'd be game over.
I wonder if it slowed down.
Well, there's black caiman.
Yeah, all the black caiman I've caught have been pretty chill.
Black caiman get over 18 feet.
Yeah,
they're massive.
What?
Yeah.
There's a rumor there's one in Florida, but we don't have to dive into that.
What's that? You can't do a teaser like that. Like what?
I mean,
yeah, there's one out there.
There's one in Florida.
Actually.
Yeah, they're trying to catch it right now.
Where?
I can't tell you.
A general region. Everglades.
In the state of Florida.
Yeah, in the state of Florida, there is one, but it's a smaller one. It's not full grown yet. But they're trying to they know where it's at, and they're trying to capture it.
Don't know how it got there.
It's like a sub-adult, right?
Yeah.
From what I've heard. So
that you like sexing.
That's hatchlings.
Oh yeah, sorry, it's too old for you. That's crazy. So what did you think when she did were you there when the python and the gator?
No, that was after his time.
What did you think of that when you saw that?
I think I sent it to you before I ever like posted or anything. I was like, Chris, you got to see this stuff.
Yeah, that was gnarly.
Yeah.
Like that's
it's like I don't know, man. It just It's one of those things like it looks like science fiction. You know? But it's real.
It's crazy. I mean, that's Rosie's like, I feel like that was her big moment right there.
It's like, guys gotta see it. I almost didn't post it. I didn't post it for a long time.
I know, I remember that, yeah.
Because I didn't even think about it. I wasn't a big Instagrammer. And I was like, I should post this. And then it like blew up. And it was like my first viral video. And I was like, oh.
And then she was bit by the fame bug, the viral bug. And she's just.
Now the ego is just.
Yeah, now she can't. We gotta.
Can you guys open the door? I can't fit in this room.
Like, seriously, though. Like, I mean, you were saying it earlier. No, but. We were saying.
Here's the bus. There you go.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. No, but. So what is, I know you do a lot of other stuff as well, other than just gators and crocodilian stuff. Like, tell me about your python and like what's your favorite things in Florida? Because it's Florida's wildest, not just Florida's gators. Yeah.
Oh,
like, what's
my
your
God.
favorite stuff other than just gator stuff? Because like
sharks.
When you got Gatorboys Chris, do you ever feel pigeonholed? Like, are you ever?
I do. Yeah,
Really?
I wanted. Yeah, no, I wanted. I tried to change my Instagram name and it wouldn't let me.
Really?
Yeah, because I have such a large following. Like I had to like email Instagram itself and like get like approval to change my.
You got to call Zuckerberg. Like
Bro,
yourself.
it was like really annoying because I don't want to be Gatorboys Chris anymore. Like like
no way.
Yeah, no, I
This
it's
is like
because of the
breaking
show
news.
I
It's
was
like
on.
Prince
Did we
right
just
now.
get-
Like when Prince changed his name.
No, I hate it. Yeah,
John
I guess I'm
Mellencamp.
not like public about it, but yeah, no, like I hate it. I made that when I was on the show, which I also hated that show, but like I made it because I was on the show and whatever, and then like now I can't change it, and I'm like stuck there, and I'm like I don't.
So we got to get a hold of Zuckerberg somehow. He
call him,
watches
bro.
this podcast.
If you had to rename it, what would you name it?
Yeah, that's hard. Like, okay, this is one thing I've thought about. You know,
Wildlife Chris.
like our parents name us. Like, you don't get to pick your name. But
Yeah.
if like I had to pick my name, it's kind of a lot of pressure. Like, what are you gonna name? Like, that's a lot of pressure.
yeah.
dude.
Yeah, so
Just Chris Gillette.
Just
probably.
Chris. Yeah, that makes more
That's
sense.
what I would
probably.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I made my TikTok Gator Chris. I made one of my Facebook's Gator Chris. Whatever. Like people like that. It's a weird decision because like I didn't want to do that either. I just want to do my name, and I'm like, I feel pretentious. Just doing my name, and I feel like nobody knows who I am. It's gonna be stupid to just do my name. Be better do something catchy, but I don't know. Whatever.
You want to hear a bad one? I knew this guy that was called Young Page Views, and then he couldn't change it either. How bad is that? That's
Yeah.
You guys, you don't even know
That's
how
embarrassing
I got that, do you?
for him. No.
I never told you.
No.
I made a rap music video when I was trying to get a job at Barstool, and Dave used to call himself Dave Page Views. So I was trying to get a job. I was like, I'm like you before you started this Barstool, so I'm Young Page Views. And I literally made a music video. I tried to go in there trying to be called Safari Freeds. That was my name. That I was almost, that would, like, thank God. And then they just started calling me that. And I didn't think it was going to stick. And now here I am in 2023. That's tough. And not, like you said, I'm old now.
Yeah. Yeah.
At
you
some
are.
point, I'm going to
I would love to see that music video, though.
I'll show
I'd
you.
probably never talk to you again, but I'd love to see
got
it.
100,000 views, dude. I'm like, that's
Killing
like
it.
Drake numbers, dude. I was like, it is 6 figures. You didn't know I used to be a rapper back in the day.
Yeah, no.
A white rapper.
I
Not a good one.
blissfully didn't know that, but
Yeah, you're welcome. Your ears are thanking you. But I know what you mean. Sometimes you're like, damn.
Good stuff.
It
I'd rather
pigeonholes
be
you
Gator
too,
Boys
yeah.
Ben than Young Pageview. So that's at
Well,
least.
especially now that I'm like a man and like Gator Boys, because that was this show
Yeah.
name. It's like, oh, you're Gator Boys, and I'm like, yeah, oh my god. It's
Yeah,
just
like
annoying.
people are calling me old Pageview. Like I can't be young. Someday I'm gonna be 50. I can't be Young Pageviews. Isn't that tough?
Yeah. So
Me and you need both. I'll get a hold of Zuckerberg.
gotta rebrand.
my name's good because I had the foresight to just go with my name.
What if you had to change yours other than Rosie
Standing
the
on the
Riveter?
shoulder of giants over here. That's why.
Yeah. Wait, so this is another question too. I remember, so you were on that show, right?
Mhm.
And then like how like much social media stuff had you done when that was like ending?
Oh, so I think I had, I don't know, like under 100,000 followers. Like nothing. I'm proud to say, like, I built my social media without the show.
Tough.
What?
Okay.
Some of us are.
All right, hold on.
Wait, why? I
I
don't.
have under 100,000 followers.
Oh.
Yeah, until
just
this
started-
comes out.
I
I
literally-
just started social
Orgy.
media like this year.
I didn't
Can you
even
guys
realize
give me a second?
what a peasant you were.
We
It's-
need to take Rosie's head down. So that was good. That was.
I didn't realize I was doing it.
That's the best part. is
I
she
just get so many tabloids and like mainstream media that I'm not really
Oh.
like focused on like my socials. But that's
You're
really
more
good
of-
for you guys. I really like that.
Yeah, I had 220 million views on one
I really
video this
like
year.
that.
So
Yeah.
Which video?
Oh, one of my videos underwater with the gator.
220.
Yeah, on one channel. The other channel had 60
He
million.
bought the views, but you know it still counts.
220. That's got to be at least $50.
How much did your Instagram followers cost? Because that's a lot. Like that couldn't be cheap.
I've never paid for anything.
You want to know? What do you think?
True.
This is one thing too. Like, obviously, you guys both have a lot of like insane nature stuff. Do you like have people that are trying to emulate you, where you're like, these people are going to get killed?
We talked about that yesterday.
I've been on a rant about this
just
lately.
talked about it
I've been
yesterday.
having like a full blown breakdown about like
Take it
all
away.
these like
You had a breakdown?
fake Steve Irwin like wannabe, but it's like some of the stuff I'm seeing now is just out there. Like I saw one and I was really on a thing about it yesterday where this guy was free handling a cottonmouth.
I saw that. That was hilarious.
While the snake's bleeding and he's got
No.
a white claw.
I
This guy
saw
has
the
a
one where it
white
bit him.
claw in the background. He picks up a baby cottonmouth. There's blood everywhere. The snake's dripping blood. He doesn't acknowledge that it's dripping blood. It's just like, oh, look at this beautiful cottonmouth. He's got white claws in the background. And I was
Like
like,
they hit it or something?
I was like, this is such.
what it looked like.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
prolapse on it. Like I didn't even notice the prolapse till he pointed it out because I was like, where's this blood coming from? But I was like, this guy, I was like, there's no way people follow him. Like I watched another one of his videos where he threw like a monitor into like a lake at a park, like had a fountain in it, and then he dives in after it and he's like pulling it by the tail. Like the stuff he was doing was
he
like
threw it in and then went
it's
and got
animal abuse, yeah. And he
On
let
camera?
it bite him, and he was like, and I was like,
Gnarly
there's
bite.
no way people follow this guy. I went to his page and he had 150K followers.
it. You think it's real?
They're real too. Like I looked at the engagement because he's doing such sensational things, but it's like I said with Chris, I was like, he's doing sensational things, but it's in a professional capacity with
Yeah.
captive animals and in an ethical manner. I was
I've
like,
seen him. This guy is actually doing it.
but the people that are trying to emulate that are
Right.
just out there in the glades, grabbing animals, throwing shit, like doing whatever they want, and it's like at the end of the day, that's animal abuse. Like,
You know what I see too, Rosie? Because this is something that I think you guys are nerds. I'm a nerd too. I love it, and that's
Yeah.
good. Like I will sit in my bed on my life and like be looking at video, like research and stuff by myself because I like it. The thing that pisses me off that you just said about that things, I see these people that they want the followers of Gatorboys Chris and they want the videos to go viral. They don't give a fuck about animals.
Right.
They don't actually crave that shit. Like when they were little kids, they weren't like watching that like loving it. You know what I'm saying? They want to do a stunt.
Yeah.
They're like props. Like the animals are props.
the video's
Yeah.
about the person, not the animal, and there's
Yeah.
no educational value to it. They're not changing perceptions of the animals. They're not doing anything beneficial for the animal or for wildlife, any sort of advocacy. And then they'll also put like wildlife conservationists or scientists in their bio, and they're not.
Yeah.
It's a prop.
It's a
And
prop.
What sucks is it feeds itself. So the
Yeah.
more sensational and wacky and stupid, especially like stupid something is, the more shares it gets. Because people are
Mm-hmm.
like, look at this idiot. And like the guy doing it, a lot of times doesn't realize people are sharing it because they think you're a moron.
Oh yeah.
But it
And
makes
then
it go viral, though.
And it makes it go viral and it reinforces it. And they're like,
And
I
you
gotta
know
do
what
more
else?
of that. I
You
gotta
know
do
what
more
else?
of that.
To that point, there's such a critical mass when I've seen people do the dumbest stuff and it gets shared because, like you said, it's controversial. People hate it.
Yeah.
Out of 100,000 shares or whatever, 20,000 or 15,000 are like don't realize how wrong it is and end up following the person, and then that's how they like cultivate those
A lot of
audiences.
people. Those fake
Yeah.
animal rescues and stuff like
Oh,
that. Like
yeah.
everybody
Yeah.
is like, I
Is it-
even talked to some of my coworkers and they're like, that don't work with wildlife, and they're like, honestly, like not working with wildlife, I would not know looking at that video that was staged.
That's
Yeah.
when we talk about, her and I talk about nonstop.
Yeah.
It's just so many people stage everything. These completely ridiculous scenarios, throwing animals in dumpsters. Like literally, people throw animals in dumpsters and then turn on the camera and like, I'm going to save that animal. You know? And it's
Yeah.
like, they turn on the cameras and then they're the hero. You know? And people think
Yeah.
it's real.
It's such a slippery slope because I do understand. Like, I love Steve Irwin growing up. Like, you want to be Steve Irwin. It's hard to go out there and be in Australia and find something. So then they're sitting in their neighborhood and outside of Miami or something, and they're like, oh, look at, like, I get where the, like, urge comes
But
from.
now you got people that hurt animals so they can save
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
You know, like let's break his leg, throw him on the ground.
Really?
Yes.
Oh yeah, the stories we could tell you about content creators taping geckos up, putting them in boxes, cutting their arms off, stabbing iguanas with spears, dumping
Feeding
pythons,
animals to other animals so you
feeding
can jump
live
in and save it.
animals. Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, turtles in alligators' mouths and then staging
Come on.
rescues.
Yeah.
Like, and these things get 10 million views on YouTube.
Yeah, they get insane.
and a lot of it's
views.
like young kids that think it's a real rescue,
Yeah,
and it
that's-
builds that like
Yeah.
following.
Exactly.
And you get all these
Yeah.
people like, oh my god, you are sent. You are an angel from God out here saving animals. And it's like, bro, that guy's out there cutting their legs
Yeah.
off so he can find it and save it on video.
And you know what? People send those to me all the time. Dude, you got to see this. And I'm like, dude, like, come on. You know what I mean?
It's wild.
That's fascinating. I didn't really know that was going on as much.
I think eventually they're going to come up with stricter regulations on animal content creators. Like they're like talking about like introducing like exhibition licenses for people that own wildlife that are using it for content.
Oh,
Things like that.
Pets.
Yeah, like you need to like actually have a license to do things like that.
Wow. That's interesting.
It's so hard to regulate though because
Yeah.
like you'd have to be an expert in some of these cases to be able to recognize if it is fake, if
Right.
it is staged, and like especially when you like when I do crazy stuff that with an alligator, people think it's all fake because nobody's ever done it before,
Right.
and so
Yeah.
then like it's a double-edged sword,
People do, like, I remember I posted Gabby's video with the rake thing.
Yeah.
Remember way back?
Yeah.
I literally think, and I'm not trying to claim this, but I followed you from way back. So when I was running Barstool Outdoors, I would get random videos and post them and tag people. I saw that from like your Instagram, like within 20 minutes of you posting it, put it on Barstool Outdoors, and that was when
So you think that's what
I
sent
think
it?
one of them, because
Yeah.
I would see your stuff. I only followed like 80 people back
Dude,
then.
like 50 Cent shared it.
Yes,
Ludacris,
everyone.
like,
Yeah.
And that's why
crazy.
I remember it so clearly, because I remember seeing it on your thing. I was like, this is going to go crazy. And then like the next day, it was like headline news everywhere. That video is so crazy. I know it's not like disrespectful or whatever. Like you guys do that actually every day. But people thought that was fake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, that's not a real gator.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny how like if it's almost too insane, people think it's like...
I get it constantly.
Yeah.
And like especially like the one that makes me so crazy that I get a lot is the well-fed. Everybody's always like, oh, they're just well-fed so they won't bite you. I'm like, bro, there's plenty of videos of like overweight animals ripping a guy's hand off. Like it's
Yeah.
not about being well-fed, or that the water's cooled so they won't move. And I'm just like,
I've never heard that one.
I
That's
get
a
it
good
all
one.
the time. It makes me lose my mind.
Yeah, that's crazy. I will say too, so this is interesting. I don't know why, I'm just saying this because I felt bad when we were talking about it. When we had caught these pythons that we were going to euthanize, and I let it bite me on video. I know people got mad at me for this. I know that's probably bad. How bad is that? Like I'm almost like
You like
confessing
purposely
right
let
now.
it bite you? Like you were
Yeah.
messing with it and you like
I
wanted
didn't
it
mess
to
with
bite
it.
you?
I just was holding it. And I wanted to see what it felt like, and I let it bite me. How bad is? I'm admitting it. I'm saying that's bad.
I mean,
but
I've been bit by pythons. It's not it depending on how it was done. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. Like I don't like when people do
it
that.
was on video. Like I was like,
Like I don't
in-
like when people do that for like videos and stuff because it's like pythons already have such a bad rep, and I also think like being an invasive snake, like people think they can just do whatever they want with it. Like it's like a double negative. So then like people have no regard for ethical like handling of pythons. So I don't like when people do it. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world you could do with it, obviously, but
I mean, the way I look at it is like, would I do it? No.
right.
Do I think that you're the devil for doing? No.
Exactly.
Like, no, bro.
I'm
there's-
just admitting it because we were just talking about all that, and I'd rather be the guy that said the thing than not.
Yeah.
Than act like I'm holier than thou, and then
No, no.
someone's
Well-
like, "You did this."
So
I'm admitting it.
Along those lines, here's something that I really like to point out a lot is how people are so much more comfortable being a coward attacking people within their own circle than attacking the people who are the actual enemy that are actually abusing animals. Like that's not something I would do. But I'm not going to call you out and be like, look at this animal abuser, when there's people out there actually legitimately abusing animals.
Yeah.
And we focus so much like in communities of like self-policing and attacking people who are on the same side.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe they're not exactly on the same page as you, but they're in the same chapter as you.
Yeah.
And you got people that are in a different, keep the book analogy, in a different library, whatever
Right.
whatever you want to say, but like people really focus on nitpicking people on the same side as them. And like it
Well,
makes me crazy.
I felt bad too because, like, dude, when I caught my first python, I'm like, you know how it's like iridescent and like,
Yeah,
it was so
beautiful.
beautiful. And then I made that video because I was like, this is cool, and I wanted to see what it felt like. And then I'm like, oh, this in my head, I'm like, dude, people will watch this, and that is where a lot of the inception comes from. Like, oh, that's gonna get a lot of stuff. But then after people start, I didn't think anyone was gonna be mad. Like, I don't know, I was ignorant to that. Then I mean, I haven't done it again, but you know what I'm saying. But it's like in the moment, then I was like, I felt guilty. I was like, damn, these people probably think I was disrespecting these things. but I love them more than any. Like, I don't know. I feel guilty for that, but
unless you're like in the community, I think a lot of people don't understand the ethics of like handling a snake or handling invasives, or like what's really frowned upon or what's encouraged and stuff. Like you don't really know the ins and outs of.
Like I think there should be some standard for redemption too. Not in all cases, but like for that one, I was like, oh yeah.
But it's not like you're doing it every weekend and you continue to do that exact thing and make it worse and worse.
Right. I'm just saying it's like you can learn like in some cases. Like
For sure.
I was like, damn, I'm not gonna do that.
Well, let's just follow the logic then. You know, it's like if we follow that to a state of purity, why do you even touch it in the first place?
Right.
Why do you even touch it in the first place? And that's what people tell me all the time. Why do you feel the need to touch it? I'm like, because I want to, because I love animals, and because I don't care what you think. Right. And then I know other people are going to connect with me because I'm touching this, and they want to see it too. You know, so like you go to this purity path, and then no one cares about those animals, and then they get killed by a development that gets plows over their land, puts up a condo because no one cares about them, because nobody was there to touch it, to show people, to garner their respect and attention.
That's actually a really good point, because I've had that same kind of like chain of whatever, where it's like who was it? Jacques Cousteau was like, any type of fishing at all is a perversion, which like whether that's true or not, like the logic is like if you're disturbing them at all, like why? Like you're saying, if you see that snake, let it sit there. Like any amount of wasted energy by you picking it up and then getting stressed.
Yeah, it's that you are negatively affecting that animal's life, and you should go to conservation hell now. Like that's idiotic.
But yeah, I actually read all the studies on that too, and like how children, like if you actually let a child like hold a snake or go herping and like have that connection, physically touching the snake, like the difference it makes on their perception and them liking snakes in the future is huge. And there's
100%.
there's good reasons to touch snakes. A lot of the herping I do is road cruising. So if it's on the road, you move it. A lot of those roads, python hunters and other people, boaters drive it. And like if you don't move it off the road, it will get run over. I've seen it 1,000 times. So
like,
it's
what
like,
was the first snake that you ever handled back in the day? Like when you were a tiny
probably
kid?
like a Nerodia, like a water snake, you know?
But like didn't that like I remember the first snake. It's such a like you said, if ever all of my friends or people hate snakes, I'm like, have you ever held a snake?
Yeah.
No is the answer 99% of the time. Nobody I know that, or like a shark. So afraid of sharks. Have you ever swam with them or seen them in the water? No. If you see them, you're never going to be scared of them because they just do their thing.
Yeah, but if you go shark diving, then you're promoting people feeding sharks to attract them, and that upsets the natural balance. Like, yeah, in a purity sense it does, but we're protecting sharks by raising awareness through it that it, you know, like I don't... What do you want to say? Like the ends justify the means? Like people don't like that term, but you know, like, I mean, come on, be realistic. You know?
I don't think all shark chumming is bad either. I think you have to look at it from a historical context. So like I just
I agree. I go out and chum
Maldives,
sharks.
And like historically they've had a fish market there. For hundreds of years they have thrown the scraps into the bay there, and that's why they have Tiger Zoo.
Oh,
where
really?
it's up to 40 tiger sharks that hang out in 20 feet of water right off the bay. It's right at the end of like the docks
Yeah,
there.
talk about that quick, because that's in between our last podcast. You're the first recurring guest, so I'm trying to learn how to have recurring guests.
Yeah, but it like...
So you just went to the Maldives. I mean...
It was insane. We were there for ecotourism. So we were there to promote a dive shop that does ecotourism for tiger shark diving specifically. And it's this crazy spot. It's only like 20 feet deep. And you'll have up to 40 tiger sharks at one time. And it's basically a shallow area. And there's this deep drop off that drops off to hundreds of feet. And it's deep blue. Not the best fizz, not the worst. And you'll literally just have the tiger sharks just dive right out of the abyss and just shoot up at you. So you don't know they're coming until they're like already there.
Really?
So you'll be in the water with one, and then all of a sudden you'll look over and like two more will shoot up out of like the abyss and be like with you.
They're just hanging on that ledge?
They're just hanging on the ledge. So when they're trying to get them up, they'll like sometimes dangle some tuna heads off the ledge, and one of the divers on scuba will try to bring them up for us. And once they're up, they just have tuna heads hidden. So they won't hand feed, because they don't like the association with hand feeding and the sharks. They're like, so we keep it as natural as possible.
Yeah.
So they just hide bait throughout the rock piles there, and they'll have the tiger sharks feed. So they try to get them up and then let them feed naturally while you're diving around them.
They're just kind of perusing around, you're just watching.
So if you see any of my videos, they're all circling these rocks, like trying to like feed in there. It's because there's tuna heads in there. So that's what they want. So they feed there, but they're like, if you look at the historical perspective, they're like, we've done this for hundreds of years. Like, you can't come in and be like, now that there's all this human-wildlife conflict with shark divers and fishermen, that we can't feed or like chum the bay how we always have. They're like, it's just what we've always done. They're like, so there's not like one clear cut, like, should shark chumming be illegal, or is it bad, or is it good? Like, you have to look at a lot of different perspectives on how it's being done, where it's being done, in the history of the local communities.
What was the biggest tiger that you saw there?
I don't even know. I think she was like 14 feet there. Like, they were all pretty big females. They said right now is the only season that, like, it's all females because the males aren't in the area. They kind of, like, give birth and they're doing their breeding right now.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Was that one of the coolest places you ever dived, or what was your like take on it afterwards?
It was really cool because I've done Tiger Beach a lot too, and I know you've been to Tiger Beach too a lot. And you'll always have a lot of tigers around you, but I've never seen like this many tigers in such a shallow, concentrated area, and it's every day guaranteed.
Really?
And like when I tell you, it's like how we're off the dock right now. It's like you could shore dive it. I could walk
Really?
off the beach and just be right there at their tiger spot.
That's crazy.
It's like
20
no
feet of
effort.
water?
Yeah, and it's like you'll be filming
Let's
one,
go.
and one will like just pop up
Yeah,
over
we
your
need to
shoulder.
I saw the
Oh,
clientele
I know.
on
She
that
got
trip.
this free. We're not friends anymore,
We need to get bikinis, bro.
bro. So
How come they
I'm
didn't
so
bring guys
jealous.
like me and Chris? You know,
yeah,
Maybe-
like,
we
maybe-
don't get
hot
those
enough?
invites, man.
Maybe if you guys were like better free divers or like I don't know, more experienced with
Train me,
wildlife.
make me better.
Yeah, train us. You're,
We
No,
got,
she-
no,
she-
I
she
got
just trained
Chris.
me.
He got a
5-minute
5-minute breath hold.
what?
Yeah.
He almost blacked out though when he came up. It was kind of cool. I've never like seen
Should we
somebody.
end the podcast on a breath hold at the end of this?
Oh god. no.
Yes.
Not yet.
Oh.
I'm not ready to end it yet. Almost, but I'm just saying you gotta. I know you gotta
For
go,
sure.
but I'm
It
just
was
saying
awesome, dude.
one thing that we can do. That should be the end of the podcast. We'll just do a breath hold. That's great. Or maybe I'll narrate it so
Okay.
that it's not just dead air.
No, you gotta do the
Frankie
breath
will
hold.
narrate
Yeah,
it. And
you're gonna
we'll-
hold your breath,
the one
and
doing it.
No,
we're
I
gonna
will, but-
revive you when you.
Frankie's gonna narrate it, and we'll all three just hold our breath. I'll
Okay.
be like 40 seconds probably. What do you think I could do? Like 40 seconds? A minute?
15.
Ooh.
No, seriously.
Seriously.
What's like a normal breath hold for like an average? Like,
Normal's probably like a minute, so he's probably got like 35, right?
Dude, that was
Brutal.
good. Hey. Seriously, good job. That was funny. Yo, but okay, this is another question I asked Rosie when we did our podcast, and I know what side you're on, and I'm on the same side, but I just want to get your brain on it. I've asked Forrest this, I asked Rosie, I've asked everyone. The shark thing in Florida, where all these people, all of a sudden, in the last like probably 1 to 4 years, there's been like more noise about there's too many sharks, and people are saying that. What is your I know your take, so I'm not acting like what's your take, but like I just want to get your thoughts on that because I know you're passionate about it.
So shifting baselines. I mean that is it.
That's exactly what I said.
Everyone needs to understand shifting baselines and what does that mean. So your baseline data, what are you judging your normalcy off of? And for most people, that is what is normal within their puny, tiny, insignificant gnat human life. And I love to say it like that. Okay, because we are so egocentric. We're so egocentric to. Am I saying everything she
She's
said?
egocentric. That's all.
Oh, we're talking about.
I'm just saying.
All right.
She's
But-
sitting right there. I can't not say it. Okay.
But yeah, everybody bases what normal is off of what they see within their life, and your life is so short. You're a blink of an eye, man. And so, like, if we think about it historically speaking, like let's say 100 years ago or something like that, or okay, no, really, let's say 1,000 years ago, how many sharks do you think were out there? Do you think it was more or less?
I would say there's probably 10% of what there was 1,000 years ago.
That's what I'm saying. So, okay, so let's say, just for the sake of argument, let's really simplify things. These are not the correct numbers, nobody get mad, but let's really simplify things. Let's say prior to environmental regulations in the 60s and 70s being passed. So let's say right before that, let's say shark numbers were down 80%. Some of them were lower than that. We know that to be a fact for certain species, but let's just 80% is a number, right?
Yeah.
So it was down 80%. And then we passed environmental regulations on various different things. And then those regulations have a time period before they catch up to actually have an effect in the system because a lot of these animals have a slow reproductive cycle.
Right.
So let's say it takes 30 years to
Because
rise.
sharks are getting what? They're sexually mature, 12 years old, 10 years old, 15
Yeah,
years old.
depends what kind we're talking
Right.
about, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, let's say 60s and 70s regulations go into place, we have these protections put, and then let's fast forward 30 or 40 years, we're right here today, and we're seeing the rebound of a lot of environmental regulations today.
Right.
But that means for these people that don't understand this, they're like, when I was a kid, there was nothing. I'm like, yeah, there's nothing because you grew up in, you know, the 70s or 80s before these regulations could start to actually catch up. You were
Right.
there in the worst times. And then now when the population comes up 5%, there's more than ever. There's more than there's ever been in your tiny life.
Right.
Yeah, because
And
you're
me and
looking,
Rosie
it's
were
so
talking about it,
myopic.
too. It's such a classic human trait to have a problem of like, there's not enough sharks. Okay, finally we put regulations in. Finally they bounce back, and we're like,
No.
Kill them all.
we got it. Like, whoa.
There's too many. When I was a
Yeah.
kid, there was never that many because you grew
Yeah.
up in the lowest point of the trough.
And now it's like our answer. Like we just had this giant problem that took decades to solve, and then we're like, we gotta kill them off again. It's like,
Yeah.
what,
Oh my God.
dude?
There's 5 to 10% more than there were when you were a kid. Let's slaughter them.
Right, like-
and it's like, bro, we went from an 80% loss of what they're supposed to be at historically pre-humans, and now we're at 70 or 60% lower than it should have been pre-humans, and now we're like, oh my God, we're freaking out, kill them all.
Right.
Like, it blows my mind. If you read actual historical accounts like Aldo Leopold and things like that, like the way they would talk about birds or whales, can you imagine whales where you could literally walk across to the sunset is how they would describe it.
Yeah.
And like people think that's fictitious and that's just it's an exaggeration, it's an embellishment, but like, which obviously you're not walking to the sunset, that is, but
Some of them, my grandpa, I think, was telling me he caught more fish than he really did. That
well,
could have been an embellishment.
there are some
but other than
embellishments,
that,
but
yeah.
but here's one that's definitely not. Very many people said that birds were so thick they would black out the sky.
Yeah.
That's incomprehensible for someone today. Can you imagine so many birds that you can't see sunlight and it becomes dark and twilight for like 20 minutes at a time? That is incomprehensible for people, and that was normal. The amount of life on this planet that has just crashed because of humanity, and
You
we
know
are
what's actually the biggest I read is insects, like winged insects.
Yeah.
yeah,
Isn't that like
and that's a base of the food chain.
yeah?
What do you
But
think
isn't
that's
that
gonna
like
affect?
one of the biggest ones? Because I was reading
it is,
that
and it's
the
like
other
the
day.
most overlooked too, because
Yeah.
like it's such a lower level animal. Like when nobody cares about insects,
Like
they're so
lightning bugs, Rosie.
understudied.
In Missouri, growing up,
Yeah.
I would see lightning bugs
Everywhere.
all over, and we used to get
It's our
tennis-
favorite thing to kill them and like use the gloves.
No, but I'd get like a tennis ball thing with take out the tennis balls, and we'd put them all in there.
Yeah.
When's the last time you saw like a million lightning bugs out in your field?
Never. I love lightning
Because
bugs,
I was
too.
reading the other day, like I forgot what it is. There's like 8% or whatever it was of like winged insects across like North America or whatever it was compared
Yeah.
to like 20 years
Well,
ago.
look
It's
at
like
our natural lawns. Like we just bulldoze everything. We plant artificial lawns, and then we cover them in fertilizer. Like if you look at like a natural lawn versus what we have, it's just we're killing everything, all the biodiversity.
but it's
Yeah.
like you said, like birds and stuff. It's like
People can't even imagine.
right.
You know, like we're so myopic, we're so like focused on our tiny little lives that like, you know, most people would never crack open a book and actually read something in a book and not on your phone and like understand like what was normal to people, you know, 200 years ago.
It's crazy to me too, though. Like when you say myopic, it's like I even have friends where I'm like, dude, don't you remember there was like thousands of fireflies when we go out at night? And they're like, yeah, dude, I think there might have been a few more. Like even people that were there don't
Yeah.
really like.
Robins is one that I see.
Yeah.
Like I remember when I was a kid growing up, like when the robins would migrate through Florida, I would just see hundreds of robins in my backyard. And now it's like a couple dozen.
Yeah,
It's crazy. And I mean, I see that difference, you know?
like, that's in our lifetime.
Yeah. Or look at fishing pictures. That's a really big one that really
Yeah.
resonates with people, especially if you go fishing. Look at like what an average catch was 100 years ago and look at what it is now. Look at the size of the fish, the number of fish. It's pathetic.
They used to see tarpon in the Keys, 150, 200 pounds. Also, if that happens now, it's like
It's gonna be crazy. Like when we get to Chris's age, the difference we see.
that was, dude. I don't support that. I don't support age shaming like that.
May you age as gracefully as I have.
Yeah, you wish you could be this freaking jacked when you're.
Yeah, exact. Chris, my idol.
Yeah, he is probably.
Anyway.
It's not a bad thing. Anyways, I don't know. There's so many topics. I'm trying to think of any more questions because I'm glad to have you on here because it's like I feel like you have so many different things that you're interested in. Also, what's up? Remember the bird with no feathers?
Which one? Oh, Elmo.
Is
You
he-
talking about the green
Yeah.
one? Yeah,
Passed
he
away?
passed away.
Oh, that-
Just this year, yeah. He had apparently, so we had him for about 5 or 6 years, I think 5 years. But he was on a bad diet for his whole life,
Yeah.
and so he had kidney issues. And so I finally caught up with him.
What other animals do you have at the house now? Because I know you always got like some sort of.
Oh my god.
I feel like Gabby's always bringing a new animal home.
Like every day.
Let's shout Gabby out. Let's
yeah.
promote her stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean, Gabby Nicole, check her out for sure. I mean, don't check her out. Don't
Check her out.
watching you.
Check her out.
Yeah, you should check her
At your
out.
own risk, bro. Check
Yeah.
out, and you're gonna meet the pipes over here. You know what I mean?
But man, she's she's just killing it running the rescue, with me and everything. I mean, she does so much with the rescue that we're doing with the nonprofit. And I mean, my rescue side is mainly the reptile side, but I mean, she's really brought me into more with the birds, the mammals, reluctantly, I might say sometimes. But
Really?
oh my God, we got so many friggin' birds in my house. We just finally finished building this beautiful aviary for them, so now they're outside my house.
Right.
But yeah, they've been inside the house for a long time, and they're finally outside.
Seems like you're a fan of that new development.
I am. But yeah, just trying to. I'm supposed to pick up some cockatiels this weekend while I'm down south, for the rescue.
What's like your sleeping arrangement like? Like, is there animals like?
Yeah, there's a skunk in my bedroom right now. Just yep.
I want a skunk so bad. When you guys got that, I told Gabby, I was like, that's the one animal that I'm truly envious of.
Does it
I've
have
always
its,
wanted a skunk.
Its glands?
No, it's descented. So it came from Florida Skunk Rescue, and so yeah.
Didn't know there was a Florida skunk rescue.
Yeah, so skunks. So we talked to them.
Get one.
Yeah, well, so we talked to them. We were like, oh, well, if you guys get one, you need to rehome, one rescue to another. If you need space, we have the space. We can take one, And then the next day, we were expecting like a couple weeks, I was like, yeah, sure, When Gabby asked me, I was like, yeah, whatever, go ahead. I didn't expect it to be like the next day.
It's like when you offer somebody a ride and then they're like, yeah,
let's go right now.
Like, oh, fuck, I was kind of just saying that.
No, I mean, I meant it, but like I didn't think it would be like immediately,
So this thing just sleeps while you're sleeping?
Yeah, thankfully. So, interestingly enough, I didn't know this. Skunks are somewhat domesticated at this point.
What?
Yeah. So, it is on a diurnal sleeping schedule now. Normally, skunks are nocturnal. So, this one's now on a diurnal schedule, more, obviously, more friendly.
That's amazing.
Pretty interesting.
They're really friendly. They like cuddle with you. Like I held my friends the other day, and it would
That
like
wasn't
just
a
lay
skunk.
on you.
That was
Like,
their ex-boyfriend, I think.
what? Which one? And I had this skunk, and it like cuddles with you, and you can just like pet him, and it was like holding a little baby.
How
It's,
big
like,
is it? Like, is it full grown? Like a?
Yeah. I mean, the one I have is pretty decent size.
I see a lot of
What do you
skunks in
consider
Missouri.
decent size?
We're back to this.
Never got my answer.
My boy Brownie loves skunks. He's a big skunk guy. But, anyways, that's crazy. So, like, does it ever like walk on you while you're sleeping? It's just like it just chills.
Then we get a little pen, in the
Little
bedroom.
skunk pen.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't expect that was going to be the answer. You got a lot of different...
I didn't expect that to be in my bedroom, so here we are.
And is that just the long term? It's just going to live
No.
there?
I'm gonna build an outdoor enclosure for the skunk for when the weather's nice and when it's hot. It has to be inside too, but when it's cooler out, so she can be outside.
What's their range? Because I see them in Missouri a lot, and it gets pretty cold there.
Bro, I was hiking in the Amazon rainforest, saw a striped skunk. And
Like the same kind we
the
have?
same friggin' thing. I did a double take
What?
because I was like, what? Pepe Le Pew and the Amazon.
You thought that you brought it with you or something?
It was. I had a moment, man. And same thing. Virginia possum. I've seen down there too. I'm like, what?
Really?
Like they got some cool possums. They have like 4-eyed possums I've seen, but like the same thing, a Virginia possum. And I'm like, hey, it's the friggin' thing in my trash. Like just walking around the jungle.
I love possums.
Oh, they're so cute.
One of my favorite animals.
Yeah, I love them too.
You know who loves possums is that guy out there. He actually, I think he was trying to take it home as a pet, but it was a little too forcefully. He tried to kidnap a possum.
Yeah.
And he dropped it when I told him. I think possums are maybe gators are worse, but people misunderstand possums.
People always
bad.
think they have rabies because they foam at the mouth, but it's just like a defense thing they do. They actually don't have
can't
rabies.
get
Never
rabies.
They
No,
don't have
can't get
rabies.
it.
Yeah, they can't
The
have
body
it.
temp's too low.
Yeah.
Like, respect possums. Last time, I've been starting the Appreciate Wood Storks campaign. I've been promoting that.
I love wood storks.
Appreciates possums, too.
Yeah.
I think that's like, you see him walking around, people are like, they got rabies. I'm like, dude, he's just walking. They're literally
They just like to
Yeah.
foam like that. They're just defending
crazy.
themselves.
I don't know. What was that? I thought you were doing a hand motion.
So did I.
Sorry.
Everything good with our
executive
producer?
She was giving us some air traffic signal.
I was just trying to fan you guys.
Oh.
No big deal.
I feel like possums, they need to be. But yeah, also Rosie. Last time I've been liking wood storks my whole life. Then when we talked about it on the podcast, I posted it. And my sister's like, "Oh, like is this you just learned about those from?" I'm like, dude, I've been the wood stork guy. I love wood storks for so long.
I'm
Whooping
just
cranes.
inspiring people. Like
Florida has
like
so
Ben.
many cool big birds.
Yeah.
They do.
Sand-hill cranes. What's those ones? The dangly things. What are whooping crane? What are they called? You know what I'm talking about?
The dangling things?
They have like the cranes with like they have things on their head like this.
I don't know what you're
Have you ever
talking
seen a
about.
whooping crane?
Yeah.
Don't they have some sort of thing?
Well, whooping
dangling?
cranes just look like a bigger, more white sandhill crane, and they're super, super rare.
I saw one with these things on its head.
Is it a peacock?
No, I have seen. Those are cool too, though. I swear to God, I saw it. I know it was in Wesley Chapel.
We'll figure it out.
I know the parking lot, but there's like a twisty tree there.
We'll Google
I'll
it.
show you exactly where it was. This is a real story. I have a
Okay.
picture.
All right. I can't wait to see
I appreciate wood storks, appreciate possums.
That's right.
Anything else you want? Any other animals that are underrated? Skunks too. We'll throw them in there.
Yeah.
Mud snakes.
Well,
It's my favorite
mud snakes
snake.
are awesome.
And those glass lizards too.
Yeah,
I
those
saw
are
that
cool.
the other day.
I was just going for a little jog with Frank, and I found a glass lizard. I was excited. I don't really see those very often.
Those are cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's about it.
That's it.
That's it.
So, all right, now we're gonna do, I guess, the breath holding competition.
Oh my god.
Can
How-
you give me a quick 30-second thing? Like, what should I do before? Like,
Hold your breath.
I'm also sick. I didn't even
Oh,
think
yeah.
about that. I
Oh,
literally
yeah, all
am
of a sudden
sick.
Thanks for
So-
sitting next to me.
All of a sudden, there's a physical contest,
Well, I'm
and he's
saying I
sick.
can't breathe,
He's been
like-
fine all day.
No, I'm just saying.
It's like I
I'm-
forgot to
I'm
mention. Now I have a cold.
performing under
Right.
hard circumstances. So wait, is there
Definitely.
anything I should do like before, like
You should breathe,
hyperventilate?
and then.
that a
No,
thing?
that's actually like the exact opposite of what you should do. They
Okay,
actually
well,
tell
that's
you
what I'm asking.
never
She's
hyperventilate
gatekeeping breath
before
holding
you
from
free
me.
dive. That's how you black out. You never want to do that.
Well, that could have been me because you won't tell me the secrets. She's
We
like,
would have revived you, but don't hyperventilate. That's not
I
what you do.
I don't want you to revive me. Let Chris
I wasn't
revive
going
me.
to.
Yeah, it's not okay.
You, like mouth to mouth?
I'm just saying, she was like trying to trick me. So
This
she
is
could
gonna do
revive
great on
me, like,
OnlyFans. I
Oh
need
my
you guys
God.
to.
Are you promoting that right now? Check
your
out
guys'
her OnlyFans.
Your guys' OnlyFans,
Oh,
not
okay.
mine.
I would wish I could
No,
have
no, no.
OnlyFans. If someone would pay me, I'd do it. But I don't think anyone would pay
No,
me.
I wouldn't.
Get so many dudes that ask.
Really?
Yeah. He always sends
Sounds
them.
like
He
you
gets
need
more
an
dudes
agent.
in his DMs
I
than
get,
me.
dude, it's not cool.
You know what? I've had a few dudes that have sent me some messages. I appreciate it.
Like I
Got-
kind of okay. Like if you're polite, it's fine. It's not a big deal. Like nothing.
You know what?
I'm not bothered if you're polite, but
I'm gonna-
definitely I get where women are coming from because I get
Yes.
some very forward and aggressive like people.
I
It's
literally
not cool.
have this one guy. I don't think he watched the podcast. Maybe he does. There's like a chain because you know how you can see the past DMs.
Yeah.
I've gone back and looked. It's from like 2018. Like this guy's like, nice bulge. Like would love to like feel that
God.
crotch. And it's like every like 4 months. Like it's pretty persistent.
Yeah.
And every one of them, I gotta admit, I appreciate it. Like I'm just saying it's nice. You definitely. I feel like last time we had the podcast, she said she had so many DMs she couldn't even read them all.
But like, I don't get like penis pics and stuff. Like, he gets dick pics. Probably more than me.
I never got a dick pic.
I've
Damn,
got one
dude.
ever, and it's like embarrassing because people ask me if I get them all
I
the
told
time,
you
and I'm
not
like,
to tell anybody.
I only
about
get
that.
one.
So that's crazy. Getting
It
dick
makes
pics.
me crazy,
Yeah.
dude. It's like
I gotta work
so
out
obnoxious.
more, dude. I'm getting no dick pics.
It's so no, you don't want it. Like I have learned that I do not open any photo from any guy if I don't know them. Like I have learned that
Damn.
lesson. You know.
So I no, not
And
to
the
send it
dudes
to
with
you,
my
then.
feet, man, all the time because I
I
wear
was wondering why you never responded. You didn't open it.
like
Right.
I'm in Florida and it's hot, so I wear sandals, and people are like, you wear those sandals because you like to show off. I'm like, dude, no, I'm gonna wear socks with the alligators now. Like,
I gotta admit, I wish that I had a foot fetish because I don't get. It seems like that would be an easy thing.
it would be so easy, right? Like if I was
Everyone's
into that,
got
I
feet
just
around,
like,
and I just can't get myself. Like I just don't see it.
no.
But people that have that, it's like they must be feasting. There's feet everywhere.
Oh my god.
Isn't that so unfair?
Ugh.
Crazy to me. Anyway, so now we're gonna hold our breath. Frankie, do you wanna be the ref of this?
How do you know we're not going to cheat? I'm definitely cheating.
How are you gonna cheat?
I love
It's
cheating.
on camera.
All right.
How are you gonna cheat?
I don't know. I'll find a way. Okay, ready?
You just
I got
lightly
1% on
breathe.
this, so let's see if you guys can last on.
Okay, hold on. Tell me. You gotta give me like a 5-second countdown.
All
Ready?
right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
loss. But it's so fun to breathe. Now these two suckers can't breathe still. I can breathe. Bet you're jealous. I got all this fresh air in my nostrils. Don't cheat. Wow, this is a mental battle at this point. Now I get to be the announcer. Frankie, who do you think's gonna win?
Rosie, for sure.
Really?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Because she says she cheats. She already admitted it.
Oh no.
She broke.
No!
That's not very fair.
Yeah, you did!
That does not count.
What do you mean?
I just laughed. I didn't breathe in.
Oh.
I think Chris lost because he went.
We're gonna have to go to the
No,
tape.
she did the.
I laughed.
Oh, I thought you
I just
gave
breathed
up.
out. No, I was just laughing at him.
It's
I
inconclusive.
restart.
It's an inconclusive. I gotta admit, I held it for long.
Yeah,
I
you
kept
did good.
thinking.
What
I
was
was
the
like,
time
did
on
good.
that? Oh, come
2
on.
minutes maybe, I think.